Hello, lovely souls. Welcome to the Conversation with MJ, where we are going to embark on a journey of connection, growth, discovery together. I'm your host, MJ, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this exhilarating ride through realms of inspiration, wisdom, and insight. So, we're going to deep dive into the heart of what it means to live a fulfilling life, to pursue our passions, and to unlock our greatest potential. Each episode is a celebration of human connection and a testament to the power of authenticity and a reminder that we are all on this journey together. So get ready to be inspired, get ready to be empowered, and get ready to ignite your inner fire because here at Conversations with MJ, the adventure never ends. So join us with every moment an opportunity to shine. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, please leave a comment, and the show will be starting shortly. See you soon. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is having a great Sunday. I hope you are well, healthy, and everything. I had a couple of hours before I have to head into work, and there was a few articles and stuff that I was looking at, and I want to review these things with you. There was a few videos that was quite interesting, and I felt that this is something that we can go over. So yes, your girl's going back to the regular smegular things that she wanted to do on her show. And one of them is from Dr. Romsey. If y'all remember, I had a couple of videos that I will review about Dr. Romsey. She is considered the narcissistic doctor. Like she's like the highest of the high when it comes down to narcissistic personality disorders, that particular mental illness. She's like the go-to person for her. So she recently came out with a video in reference about how narcissism takes play or how it shows up in societies or in communities, and how you can start to see the crumbling of a community or society depending on how many narcissistic people or personality disorders is in said community. So that's one of the videos that I'm going to go over with you guys today. The another one is there's a big talk, especially online, about hookup culture, um, quote unquote hoe culture, quote unquote all this dating, whether you need to be dating with a purpose or dating just to just have fun. And it kind of leads back to when I did my live streams about when dating actually started and how dating has progressed throughout the years, right? Because just to refresh anyone who haven't seen those live streams, dating has only been around for 100 of years. It started in the 1900s. It actually literally started 1920s when the first automobile was created, because that was the opportunity to now make dating a event where you can go out on a date. You can drive and take someone to a restaurant, to a park, things of that sort. before the 1900s, as most of y'all know, most people were getting their mates chosen and approved by their families, specifically their parents, but truly it would be their family. Most of the men and women relationships that turned into marriage and stuff like that was on the basis of if you were on the same level in society. Did you have the same income? It was used as a way to build on a quote unquote legacy or empire or business, or to add to it, right? So that's what marriage was for. It was considered a bartering system to join people's families together. And then we decided that as a human race, we have decided that to put in the whole feelings factor, that type of dynamics. We decided to do that. So that's where we started from, and now we see where we are. But the biggest push that's always online now is just, if you just get married, everything is going to be fine, everything's going to be perfect. Act like you read minds and pick somebody, vet them as much as possible, and then just marry this person, and then you just going to have to just learn how to navigate that. Endure, right? The endure discussion, the endure conversation normally comes up. And what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you a couple of videos of women who are married, women who have been married for a very, very long time, and women who don't want to be married anymore. And then they're going to give their opinions as to why. But first, before I do that, let me do some housekeeping. I want to say hello. Hi, Young Riaz. Thank you for coming. Hi, Miss Jalen. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And shout out to Empress Kaya. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Yeah. Let's see what you're saying in the chat. Yeah, I understand that, Young Riaz, but I'm not going. This is not a panel. This is not a panel live stream today, because I'm not going to be on for so long. I do have to go to work, but I understand what you're saying, sir. Thank you. Hey, Ariel, darling. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Good day. Good day. Oh, your mother been married since 1999. Oh, that's great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. All right. So before I start, I do want to talk about something that I said I was going to do. You remember when I had told you about the whole is on my live stream, is hip hop dead, right? Or is hip hop done? Off of these new allegations when it comes down to Jay-Z and P. Diddy, right? And I stated in that live stream that I did, that night stream, that a lot of things that is getting caught up is what is being put in the lyrics, right? Oh, Kaya, no problem, sweetheart. And let's see. Hold on. Okay. Wait. There we go. All right. Let's see. Hi, how are you doing? Do you do horoscopes? Not necessarily horoscopes. I used to read them when I was younger, back in the day, a lot. But what I realize is that even with the horoscopes, when it comes down to your signs and stuff like that, it just tells you things about your self. It gives you like a blueprint to follow to know more about yourself. Nothing is guaranteed, right? And nothing in those horoscopes, or even with your like that, nothing that is concrete about an individual, right? Because you got to remember, when with the horoscopes and the signs, you share that signs with probably a billion people. There's probably a billion people within all the signs, right? So even though you and this other person might have a lot of strong characteristics, that individual is still an individual, and he or she has other attributes about themselves that has to do from social conditioning, has to do from environmental conditioning, has to do from cultural conditioning, so there's so many things that also creates this individual to be unique and different from you, even though y'all might share some of the traits that falls under that sign. So you don't want to use it as like the God honest truth or anything. You want to just understand that those are just big main traits that you see in certain people that they might share, but it can literally manifest itself differently in the world to other people. Okay, so here's before I do that, I told you that the lyrics, I don't think this one is good. Let me try this one. I told you that the lyrics is one of the reasons why these rappers today are getting caught up with allegations and stuff like that. It makes it very easy, right? And so yes, with the whole Jay-Z situation, we are seeing that a lot of these accusers are being questioned, and they're turning out to see that some of the things are not factual, some of the things that they're not saying. And it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate. However, I rather for us to be wrong than for us to actually skip over and someone actually do be a victim and they don't get the help, or they don't get heard, they get overlooked because we don't want to convict one person. It goes back to what I said. It's like it's about the bad element. And this is not me saying that these individuals are technically a bad element. It's just saying that when you know there's a lot of things that are going on that are bad elements, and you brush it over, and you don't take it seriously, you leave a lot of loopholes for a lot of people to become victims, right? And this is why I always believe that you have to attack it on both sides. Give people good advice, make them alert, make them aware. But also, when you start to see trends and patterns of bad elements in wherever it is, your community, your society, and stuff like that, you're supposed to tackle it on both sides. But before we get to the videos, right? I wanted to show you that this is how they start to get people or artists on their lyrics of the things that we're talking about. So Westword, they have the 50 best rap lyrics of all time, right? And I wanted to just show some examples of the lyrics so you can get an idea about how this is manifesting, the reason why certain things that are even being spoke about in certain songs and is also being shown outside. Now, there was at one point where music was music imitates life, right? But now it seems like life is imitating music. You know what I'm saying? Life is imitating music now. So that's what I'm starting to see. Because a lot of the things, like more of the things that's happening is actually is actually showing up more in the music, right? So for example, now, Mos Def came in at number 50 with his song Mathematics. And he has a lyric in there saying, crack mothers, crack babies, and AIDS patients. Young bloods can't spell, but they could rock you in PlayStation. So this was named very powerful because it was literally talking about what um the challenges that were happening in the late 90s, where kids was all on PlayStation, Sega, and all the stuff like that. And but they couldn't read. They was having problems in the school system, especially in America. And during that time in the 90s, there it was the crack epidemic. um that was the era when kids couldn't even go to the park. If they was in the park playing after school, you would have little crack pipes all over the floor and stuff like that. That's how it used to be back in the 90s. For the ones who weren't adults or teenagers in the 90s, if you were born in the 90s, this is what how the 90s looked like, in some parts of the world. So then I don't want to read this one. Here's another one. Okay. So Wu-Tang came in at number 48 as Triumph, right? Now, I love Wu-Tang, right? And Triumph is one of my favorite songs for them. But this lyric, I bomb anatomically, Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses. Can't define how I be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically perform armed robberies. Flee with the lottery. Possible they spotted me. Battle scars, shogun, explosion when my pen hits tremendous, right? That was a crazy, crazy, crazy lyric from Inspector Deck. I loved him. He was one of my favorites outside of Method Man. He was my favorites in the Wu-Tang Clan because he was he was such a lyrical individual, right? Very powerful lyrical individual. The way how he was able to put words together, right? But even then, like, things like that, lyrically perform armed robbery, right? Even just saying that, even though he's letting them know that he's only talking about, he's snatching words from people lyrically, right? Like they don't understand these words. He's just snatching them and grabbing them. Like, I'm taking that out of your vocabulary because you don't really understand what you're talking about. But they even say armed robbery. It was to literally it was literally to speak to a different environment who can understand what armed robbery is, right? And so they can actually feel like they were connected to the song. You know what I'm saying? Because they whether if they don't know that he's talking about, when it comes down to words or a rap battle. But if they understand, oh yeah, I know what armed robbery looks like. I know how it was when I had my chain snatched, or I know how it was when I was at gunpoint and somebody, stole my purse or something like that. It was a way how he was able to connect certain experiences that people have with what he was actually trying to get out, right? Then we have Lauryn Hill coming in at 47 with her song Zealots. And she had a lyric that says, and even after all my logic and my theory, I add a motherfucker, excuse my language, but I add a motherfucker, so you ignorant NIGGAs hear me, right? So even in that was kind of powerful too. And the reason why is because she said that when she will talk, and this is what she was trying to express, that she would try to talk and, and she'll give logic and theory and all the stuff like that. But she would have to lower herself to where other people might be at for them to actually understand where she's coming from, right? And that's the reason why she added I have to add the MF so you ignorant can hear me, right? Because it's like, if in her mind, when she said that lyric, and this is what I'm assuming, in her mind is that nobody wanted to hear what she said when she was just talking clean and fresh. But now when she add all these other different these slang words and stuff like that, now you understand where she's going. Now you get the drift, right? Scarface came in at 46 with No Tears. He said, I got this killer up inside of me. I can't talk to my mother, so I talk to my diary, right? So that's a very important line right there, right? Because he's saying that he wants to hurt somebody, right? He feel like he wants to hurt the world. And then he's also saying that he doesn't have that type of I guess he didn't have that type of connection with his mom, or he couldn't tell his mom that that's how he was feeling, so he reverted to writing in his diary, right? So there's these are a lot of the things that's in these lyrics, and we have bopped our head to them. we have like we don't really even, we don't even really think into mind what these actual lyrics are really saying, right? And then we do know that, these lyrics are supposed to hit us in a certain type of way. And these examples that I'm showing are more on the conscious type of side, but just think how impactful these conscious type of ones are. And then look at the lyrics that are being said today. If these was able to make the test of time and they were so impactful that they actually had to make a list, what do you think is how the lyrics and the artists today and what they're speaking about in their lyrics today, how they are manifesting in young people and adults today, right? It will be the same way. Like, look at this one. K9, number 45, struggling. My life owes me. My life owes me like an overdose. I'm slowly drifting into the arms of trouble. Then troubles holds me. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about your life owes you like an overdose, saying that you are fiending, like you are addicted to your life, right? You're addicted to your life, and you're not getting what you want out of life. That's what that whole sentence means. You're not getting what you want out of life. And then you said, I'm slowly drifting into the arms of trouble. Then trouble holds me. Meaning as you are running into more problems, and now problems is not letting you go. That's crazy. That's very powerful. So I just wanted to show you examples, guys. I wanted to show you examples of why we're seeing a lot of artists getting caught up the way they are in reference to their music and what their music used to be for a very, very long time, right? I mean, we know this was like spoken word, and especially when it comes down to rap and stuff, it's pretty much like a spoken word with a beat behind it, right? But they have used it as a way to also realize whether or not certain crimes are being committed. Look at 37 by Prodigy, Shook Ones, one of my favorite songs from Queensbridge, Shook Ones, right? His lyric, for all those who want to profile and pose, rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to take into consideration about what is actually being said on these songs. And a lot of people are telling on themselves about things that they are into that might be considered criminal. And now the courts have found a way to use this as evidence to paint a picture of a pattern that been happening. Like, you might not have been caught all those years before, but that doesn't mean that you didn't do it, right? That doesn't mean that you did not do these acts. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So let me see the chat. I'm gonna see. Let's see. Oh, the girl came forward. Okay. Let's see. All right. Maria says that a UK rapper, Lancey Fox, is taking over the UK underground with his rock star like image, but has an alternative rap style. Okay, cool. It said UK hip hop started in the 80s. Well, here's the thing. Rap period started in the 80s. Rap period started in the 80s, and it started in the Boogie Down Bronx. Let's see. Hey Josh, how you doing? How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Hey Lana, how you doing? Appreciate you for coming. I appreciate you. Yeah, so this is why we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful, right? Look at 36. 36 says MC Ren F the police, right? It says F the police and Ren said it with authority because the ninjas on the street is a majority, right? So this is the reason why when sometimes that back then those days they was also having shakedowns too, right? Because you're telling the police that we're bigger than you. We are the majority, and if you're gonna F around and find out. So if they ever felt that was a threat to them or a threat to that particular police station, where they at, these are reasons why certain things played out the way that they did, right? Shakedowns and all, right? Let's see. Okay. I'm going to talk about this one. 31 by Lil Wayne. I feel like dying. He says swimming laps around a bottle of Louis the 13th. Jumping off a mountain into a sea of codeine. I'm at the top of the top, but still I climb. And if I should ever fall, the ground will turn to wine. So, in that lyric, you can pretty much see that he's talking about him being on uppers and downers. He's literally talking about drugs in his lyrics. He's talking about doing drugs, how the drugs make him feel, and also drinking with wine, drinking with alcohol too, right? And they're saying that it resonates with people who fall into depression, and they find comfort in a bottle, right? But I understand that it is a sense of despair and dependence, right, of it. But you're in a way you're promoting this, and you're advocating that this is a way that you have to deal with your depression, that you have to take drugs and you have to drink wine, and that's how you feel like you're on cloud nine, because you being out on you not being on any form of substance, you can't deal with life, you can't deal with reality. So like I said, if it was ever to say, oh, do you do drugs, are you on this drug or that drug, are you using prescription medication, as a gateway drug, yeah, that whole lyric right there states that whole lyric right there states that. And this is how they're getting people caught up. So I'm not gonna go through the whole entire list. I think I have one more that I would like to show y'all. Okay, so here's this 25 Raekwon. If y'all don't know who this rapper is, but Raekwon with Cream. That's used to be my song too. Cream, get that money, dollar dollar bill, y'all. Cause cash moves everything around me, right? So he has a lyric that says, "No question, I was speed for cracks and weed. The combination made my eyes bleed." So think about it. He's saying that he would be driving recklessly for crack and weed, and that when he combines them together, his eyes are bloodshot red. So not only are you saying that you're driving recklessly, you're also driving recklessly under the influence. So like again, so if you want to see why a lot of people is using this opportunity to come out with narratives and say things that I saw, which I mind you, I want all the witnesses and everybody to come out. Please come out, right? I think it's better for us when we get ahead of the situation. Come out, and then we'll find out whether it's true or not. We'll find out whether it's true or not as time goes by, but it's better for whatever to come out now, and let's be done with it. Let's solve it. Let's fix it, because I'm all about removing bad elements, really. And if things are not being conducted the way that they're supposed to, then, I'm all for it. Let's see. Lana says, I don't know those songs. It's okay, Lana. It's okay. I mean, like I said, some people don't know them. Like I said, that's for back in like the 90s and stuff like that. That's old, kind of old rap, old hip hop. Some people know them, some people don't. It's fine. But I was just giving examples. I could have gave examples of some songs today, but I don't listen to rap or the hip hop today. I don't listen to it at all. I don't even turn on my radio. Do you hear me? I don't turn on my radio. I don't listen to Hot 97. I don't listen to none of that. I listen to WBLS when I want to, but most of the time I listen to songs that I have already downloaded in my phone. And since I can hook up my phone to my car, I listen to whatever songs I already have. I don't listen to the music today. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, I get it. I get it. She said I was born in 94. So all right. Okay, I get it. All right. Okay, so let's start now with what I wanted to show you. So before I do, right, just to keep in mind. No, I'll show that later. Let's get this to it. Let's get it to it. Okay. So like I said, this is Dr. Romney. She is literally the narcissist specialist, and this video that she did is how many narcissistic people does it take to ruin a system? So let's get into it, guys.
Does it take to ruin a system? Now, this isn't a light bulb joke, but if you want to treat it as that, the answer to this is 1. The system could be a family, it could be a workplace, it could be a friend group, it could be a classroom, it could be a social gathering. Maybe not even a group you are regularly a part of, but something that comes together, like a party, even an impromptu party, or a planned one, like a wedding or a conference, that sort of thing. Now, you may work in a company with thousands of people, but don't know them. Your corner of that workplace, a department, a division, a regional office, may be much smaller. Okay? It only takes 1. It's actually quite incredible. It's like a potent toxin, and just 1 drop of it in a big barrel can still make everyone who drinks it sick. Understanding how just 1 narcissistic or antagonistic or toxic person can upend a system means understanding how groups work. On average, all things being equal, most groups are harmonious, especially if they are brought together for a shared reason. Whether that is a family, or a workplace, or a social group, there is some sort of shared values or belonging that underlies it. So people kind of on their own figure out the sort of rules of order of the group and work together within it. And they make sure things are kind of handed out equally, that people are heard or listened to, and people are made to feel as though they belong. Well, you need to put only 1 toxic, narcissistic person into a system, and the whole thing goes upside down. Even if it's a few hundred people.
So what she's saying is really, really, really true, right? And we have seen it, on panels, on certain channels and stuff like that, how it can be one person who can literally derail the whole conversation or derail the whole topic, right? They can just literally, like, sometimes they can suck the air out of the room, right? Everybody could be jamming. Doesn't mean that everybody agree on everything, but everybody just staying on one topic, one discussion, and they're brainstorming, they're pinning back and forth against each other about some of the things that they know that are truth and facts, and a lot of it is opinionated based. But then somebody will come in and they will make it all about themselves. They will make it all about whatever they want to talk about, and they will literally change the energy of the room, how everybody else feel about each other, how everybody else want to conduct themselves with each other, whether they're going to remain respectful to each other. You just see it. We see it all the time. There's so many examples, and I'm sure there's more examples even offline, right? Like even in your at your job, like going to, like, I don't know if anybody's having Christmas parties, right? Let's see. Hello, Mike. This is the first time I seen you here, and good to see you. Um, um, I'm not available, but there are many wonderful women out here, and I'm sure that if you be yourself, you will get a wonderful, wonderful woman, sir. So, but thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. So yeah, I don't know if anybody having Christmas parties that's coming up soon, right? Because Christmas is right around the corner. But even at your Christmas party, right? You notice how there's always that character. You got the Joker that's always playing around, doing too much, or drinks too much liquor or wine at the Christmas party, that they wake up in the morning like, oh my God, did I do something? I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that in front of the boss. Like they literally forget where they were and who they're at. There's always somebody. There's always like maybe one or two people who gets too wasted at a Christmas party, or even at a family friends event. There's always one or two people that is either too wasted, or they become, some of them are happy drunks. They're just a little too touchy, or you have those angry drunks, right? They have those angry drunks that all of a sudden, when they get some form of substance, or they're under the influence, now all of a sudden they have to pick a fight or argument with everybody there, or somebody there. Like throughout the whole month, they was like, hey, how you doing? And then now they get drunk. You know what? I don't like you. They'll say something like that. I don't like you, or this person get on my nerves, or we all seen it. I'm sure we have seen it or witnessed it, or witnessed this, not even just only online, but just in our real life. So let's go on.
One narcissistic person will monopolize the conversation, demand to be the one who speaks the most often, who asks all the questions, has the best seat, who will say abrupt, outlandish, or even hurtful things and feel entitled to say them, test limits, break rules you never even thought to write down as rules. They don't care if people don't feel safe. In fact, in some ways, they may like it because that allows them to be in power, because people feel destabilized and they make fun of them. They will interrupt, change the rules, demand that things be done the way that they want them. They will make a day that is not about them, for example, someone else's birthday party or wedding or a guest speaker, and they will make that about them. And they will insert themselves into the middle of it. They will violate boundaries. People will feel that they have to give in to the toxic person so the whole group can run more smoothly. They are the person who will constantly ask questions and make comments in a classroom and interrupt the ability for other people to learn. One person can upend an entire system. And ironically, while narcissistic people do have that uncanny ability to read a room because they are quite socially perceptive, they don't care if their behavior is disruptive in that room because they don't care about the people in it. They feel entitled to making every space their space that works for them, that is about them. The rules of the group, they just
You know what? She's absolutely right about that, right? Because we see it all the time, but this is what narcissistic people do. They do want to be the center of attention, right? All the time. They do come in forms of social butterflies, right? We're not saying that all social butterfly people are narcissists. That is not what I'm saying at all, right? And even there is some people who come into the room who commands attention. And we label these people alpha people, right? Whether they're an alpha male or a alpha woman, these are people who naturally just command some form of attention where you know their presence, right? But there's even a difference in that. Like, we know that a lot of alpha people are narcissistic, but some of them who are narcissistic the ain't the ruly I'm trying to destroy everything. I'm coming in here, I'm shaking the table, I'm making everybody uncomfortable. Not all alpha people are like that. There's just some who come in and people just gravitate to them and they'll wait, and because they want to hear what they have to say, they want to hear their opinion on things and stuff like that. But then we have the ones who are like that, right? We have the ones who come in there just to shake up the table. That was their main goal, because technically that was what was fun for them. Is for them to see people be uncomfortable. It's for to see people try to now navigate the energy that's going on in the room, because the room now, the energy or the law of the environment is messed up, it's tarnished, right? When you have events, well, let's say a birthday party, like she just said, a birthday party or a wedding. These are unspoken rules that everybody usually know how to fall under when you go to someone's birthday party or when you go to someone's wedding. You don't go to someone's wedding acting like it's your birthday party, right? You don't go to someone's wedding wearing white if you know that the wife is supposed to wear white, right? You know, like, you don't go to someone's there's certain things, right? There's certain etiquettes in certain environments that has been always been unspoken, but yet we do know them, right? Because we have done them, we have experienced them. You go to someone's birthday party, you usually want to come with a gift. A house coming, you come with a gift. You don't just show up empty handed. You don't just try to eat all the food that's there. You don't try to leave a mess for them and just walk away. There's certain etiquettes that we just know, because we know if you don't perform um those societal etiquettes in this particular situation, you know that once you leave out that door, everybody and their mama is going to talk about you. You know, everybody is going to have a 2 cent about, did you see how so and so was cutting up? Did you see how what's the name say that? You know that they're going to talk about you. So people usually put their best foot forward to make sure that they're following the unspoken guidelines for certain situation. We all do it. We all do it. It's what we call reading the room. That is the problem when you're dealing with narcissistic individuals, right? They read the room, but they're not reading the room to comply with everybody else, to keep the social norm. They're reading the room because they want to know what they need to do to disrupt it, right? They want to disrupt it. They are coming in to shake the table. They want to see people's action. They want to see people's facial expression about how they feel about how they're acting or conducting themselves, right? And then it makes it perfect, because as soon as somebody a narcissist come in and they say something disruptive, or they say something like to start drama with people or be messy or something, right? They're sitting up there waiting. Well, who's gonna come up and act like they're the who's going to come up and act like they're also a alpha, or they also they're in control of the situation. And now I have the opportunity to challenge you. I have the opportunity to challenge you amongst everybody, right? So in a way, sometimes these people, they do it for fun and they do it for kicks and giggles. They do it to see the whole group be insecure, feel uncomfortable, right? Because that makes them funny, because they feel like, oh, I'm controlling you. I'm controlling you. Then now the simple fact that you are feeling uncomfortable for what I'm doing, what I'm saying, or how I'm conducting myself, I have a sense of control in that. But then they're also setting up a way for whoever thinks that they're going to compete with them. Now let's see if you can actually compete with me. This is what they're doing. So it's very it's very good that how she actually is, she's pointing it out about how things can happen. And we see it all the time. These people will literally mess up a room and they will steal everybody's energy in it.
Don't apply to them. So, what that means is that yes, one narcissistic person can ruin the dynamics of a group. Put a dark cloud on a party, let their entitled behavior make an entire meeting uncomfortable, create an unsafe atmosphere in a classroom. Think about it. Because I know you have been in this situation, that you are part of some group or system where there may be just one narcissistic person. And the one time, or some of the times that they are not there, the system works beautifully. Everyone exhales, and you see what is possible. And it sucks when that happens only one time. For example, the narcissistic person is not at that one session but shows up the next week. The difference can be quite remarkable at how the group runs when the narcissist is there and then when they're not there. We will often find ourselves running around in circles to accommodate this one person and let them keep making pronouncements that really aren't questions or rearranging.
She is so true. And that's what we do in society, right? We don't even know that we're doing it, but we're literally feeding into the narcissist supply. We are making ourselves the narcissist supply of what he needed. He needed to come in and suck the energy. Hey Jen, how you doing, sweetheart? He needed to come in and suck the energy of everyone there, and he's getting everybody to comply to how he wants the narrative of the environment to go, right? And I think sometimes we give in subconsciously. We give in to the narcissistic person who is doing that, thinking and hoping that if we get, like, if he's literally, acting like a enraged toddler who can't get what they want and they just shaking the table, I want what I want, I want what I want. We think if we give into this child, right? This child, that he will actually stop and we can go back to square one, you know? And we can go back to how the energy of wherever we was at is going to go fall right back. And you know what's so funny, guys? We have to admit it to ourselves. It never does it? It never really does. How many people went to a party that ended up having like an altercation in it? And then even if once you remove the bad element, the stench of that altercation still lingered around in the party? How many people have experienced that? It's still there. It just now the whole energy of the party and the reason why people are there, it it doesn't even feel the same anymore. That's why even when you go to certain concerts and stuff like that, right? And a few altercations start happening, if it's a very small group, like I'm not talking about like some Woodstock concert. I'm not talking about like no little easy vert concert, right? Like those concerts, though, most of those people are on drugs, so they don't even know that the bad element is happening. So it's just very easy for security to just scoop them up and take them out. I'm talking about like a semi medium type of event where most people there know each other, and then there's a big fight or a big altercation, and then now everybody, the people who was fighting or arguing, everybody know these people, everybody's cool with these people, nobody wants to get in the middle, nobody wants to, nobody wants to take, take sides or anything like that, right? Nobody wants to take sides or anything like that. So it becomes like, dang, it becomes weird, because even if you wanted to state your opinion that, hey, maybe this guy was wrong, or maybe this girl was wrong, and maybe she shouldn't do that, you know that now that is going to be the avenue for another altercation to occur, or anything that somebody might want to have said about you or whatever now, or how they feel. It just leaves like this open door for now to bring up other things. And that was the goal from the beginning, from the person who comes in to be the disruptor. We, however, we know them as the derailers. Let's go.
The seating, or rescheduling, or appeasing, or walking on eggshells. We may rework menus, have to make last minute game day changes to how things are run, add and edit and revise workplace procedures and policies, because just when you thought of every messed up thing that someone could do in the workplace, the narcissistic folks are always able to come up with one more. Many times, it is almost hard to believe that one person can turn a system upside down like that. We think that we can't be right about that. How can one person blow up a group of a few hundred people, or an event with 400 people added, or a workplace comprised of 50 people, or a classroom of 30 students, or a holiday dinner of 10, or a friend group of 4? The larger the group, it's almost like the less you can believe how much harm that just one person's toxicity can cause. And because everybody still thinks that we are in second grade and we all have to get along with each other, we often won't track that it is in fact just one, maybe 2 people who can make this big a mess out of it. And make no mistake, if people get to a point where they can no longer endure it, and someone takes the narcissistic person aside and says, "Hey, can you cool it? This is someone's special day, and you're spoiling it." Or, "Can you please just give someone else a chance to speak?" Or, "Stop making this about you." They will either play the victim or lash out and tell the people telling them to shut the hell up or stop being so selfish that they are the problem, gaslight, etc. You get it, right? There's no telling this person to rein it in. Narcissism is such a destabilizing dynamic in groups, and yet most organizations and groups are unwilling to call it out. Corporate wonks and academic enablers will say, "Well, everyone has a different style," or "Let's make space for the different ways that people show up." Nah. Narcissistic people bring groups and organizations down and silence the other people in a group. And depending on the nature of the group, if the narcissistic person is never hemmed in, over time it's even conceivable that the group can become physically unsafe. It certainly will be psychologically unsafe.
Exactly. Hi, Mr. Freezy. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. But you know what? She is absolutely right, right? And this is why we have to understand, as a society and a community, we have to be on board not to feed the narcissist, right? We have a saying in on online platforms, don't feed the trolls, right? We know that there's some trolls that, they say things like for banter and stuff like that, and it keeps the chat live and stuff. But then we do know that we have some trolls who say very damaging or extreme things that can actually help pollute the environment, right? Help pollute the space. So we have to decide, right, that we have to stop feeding into the said narcissistic person in the room who is actually trying to change the environment, change the energy of the room. We have to decide that we all have to stand together. We all have to stand together to tell that person no. We cannot allow just one person to do it, because just like what she said, if we only allow one person to do it, the narcissistic person is going to gaslight the person who is calling it out, and also try to call on the flying monkeys and the enablers that has been in the space the whole entire time to now gear their attention towards what the narcissists want them to worry about. Hey, no, I'm a victim. I'm just saying what I want to say. I'm just doing what I want to do. What's the problem? I'm not doing nothing no different than nobody else is doing. So that's when you have the enablers come in. Yeah, you're right. I want to be fair. I want to be fair. If we're up here having our conversations, we're up here talking about this and that, then this person has their right to talk about this and that, right? But are we actually protecting the space? Are we actually keeping the energy flowing where we're learning from each other instead of combating each other? And what she have just stated is what happens from 1 minute you can be having a conversation and everybody's having their opinions, whether if in the back of their mind they don't agree with said person having that opinion, or they don't agree with that opinion, they are still able to keep on with the conversation because what they feel about that person's opinion doesn't necessarily matter. It's just a simple fact that we're moving the conversation forward, right? But when we give in, when we give into that disruptor, when we give into that person who's trying to shake the table on everyone, what happens? Now everybody is fighting each other. Now all of a sudden, nobody respects anybody's opinion. Nobody respects anybody's opinion. Nobody respects the conversation anymore. Nobody respects the environment or the energy. This is what happens. And then you start to see that people who was able to have a conversation, whether or not, if you know, because you don't know unless you, if you like someone or you dislike someone, until they actually tell you, right? Until they actually tell you to your face that I don't like you. But most people, most normal people, don't make it their business to walk around and walk around and go up to people's face and say I don't like you. You know, most people don't do that. So when it gets to the point where you're able to have conversations with people that you might not particularly like, right? And but you can still be cordial with them. And then now it's a screaming match, and now y'all are throwing insults and all this stuff for him, back and forth against each other. Then what happened to the conversation? What happened to the conversation? And it never gets back on track. The conversation literally moved to something else. It just moved to something else, really. But we have to do our due diligence when we know, if we can sense it, we have to let it, we have to stop it where in its tracks, you know? And hello everyone that's in the chat. Big Draws, how you doing, sir? Let's keep it going. Let's keep the likes up in the comments. Let's see. MJ said, I love it how they say it's just the internet, but you are not allowed to voice your opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because, like I said, that's what happens when that's when the gaslighting situation comes in. Because, like, honestly, we know that there's some people who don't want to hear certain people speak. We know that, right? It is what it is. Shoot, I have people that I don't want to hear speak, right? But what I do know is that I don't try to necessarily silence them. I am the type of person, if I don't want to hear you speak, or if I don't feel what you say is entertaining, I remove myself, right? And everybody can go stay and talk, whatever, not, I'm going to remove myself, you know? But when you're in that type of situation, when the narcissist shakes the table, now that's when opinions are now being presented as if it's facts, right? Now all of a sudden is my opinion is what's more important instead of the actual facts or the topic. Really? Let's see. He said, let's see. Well, let's see what Ms. Jalen says. It's not about liking people, just abuse of freedom of speech. Yeah, I mean, it is. It is. It is because it's people having their own understanding of what freedom of speech is, really. Let's see. Big Draw says we need to stop the cap in this space. Nobody values others' opinions. People get too emotionally invested, and then they start with the name calling. I mean, I do agree. Most people probably don't value a lot of people's opinions in this space, but the simple fact is that you don't, even though you don't value somebody's opinion, that doesn't mean that you get to tell them, right, that when they have an opinion that they're not really able to do it, right? You just have to remove yourself. They can have their opinion, you can disagree, you just remove yourself. What the problem is that when a narcissistic individual comes in and they shake the table, and then now when the gaslighting starts, now you're starting to gaslight people that they're not supposed to have an opinion, right? And then it becomes like a group mentality, like a group thinking, like, oh well, now we're going to just say that this person's opinion is wrong and they shouldn't speak or they shouldn't talk. It's a lot of things that plays into it. So yeah, let's see what he says. Yeah, that I agree. I agree, big draws. Yep. Calling people dummy and calling them out of their name is rampant in this space. Absolutely. Right. Because now we can literally say what we're saying, and you listen, we're all guilty of it, right? What we're literally saying is that it's okay it's okay to when the group or the mass group decides that we want to jump on someone, it's okay to do it, right? And that's just what the mass thinking, like Ariel said, cult thinking, exactly, cult. That's what that is, right? It's like the majority rules, so as the majority rules, the majority goes. So let's go on a little bit.
And you will then start to see that the healthiest people leave the group first, thinking, this isn't worth my time anymore. What is then left is a smaller group in which the narcissistic person's influence is less diluted, and more harmful to the people who remain. Narcissistic people may also be the reason that systems actually fail and get dismantled. The well-intentioned people who set it up may just surrender and say, this isn't worth it. And what may have started as a well-intentioned effort may be run into the ground because there was no easy way to remove the narcissistic person.
So Natasha Vincent saying, "Hey Natasha, how you doing?" She said there are a few true NPDs, but when you do find one who likes to shake the table, try ignoring them if possible in as many ways possible. It jams them up and forces them to correct themselves or exist. Yeah, exit. Sorry. Yeah, I mean that is true. I mean one of the biggest things that tools that you could possibly do to help you when you're dealing with someone who could be an NPD or someone who's showing high traits of narcissism, right? Or the ones who are coming in to be disruptive or derailers, is to quite frankly to ignore them to the point of them, of them leaving because they're not getting the supply that they want. But I have found that that only works if it's a group agreement that we are all not going to entertain said individual. Thank you, Ariel, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you, darling. um when we don't do it as a group, what we do is we leave the person who wanted to stand up and say, hey, cut that out. Hey, stop that. Don't conduct yourself like that. You're messing up the party. You're messing up the event, whatever. When we only leave it to one person, that person becomes the one who is the victim of narcissism. And they also be the one who become ostracized, really, right? Because we subconsciously we cater to the narcissist, and this is what the Dr. Romney is talking about. As a group, as a system, we literally bow down and we cater to the narcissist. So the person who's actually stand up, they're not the one who has the support. They're not the one who has the backing. It's literally the narcissist was able to change everybody to make them side with him or her, right? Him or her. And they will come together, and they don't even some know they are, but some don't know that they're being an enabler to, you know what I'm saying, they're being the enabler to the narcissist. But if we leave someone out there by themselves to try to fight a narcissist by themselves, it is crazy. It's some most of the time it doesn't work, and that person who's trying to be the good doer is the one who's going to get hurt at the end of the day, right? Because a narcissist always has their flying monkeys around them. They will always have their enabler around them. They really don't go in there by themselves to war. They had their flying monkeys already set in play, already there before they started to shake the table. They were already there. Let's see. It's a whole argument going up in there. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Empress said, I watched as the party dies. Let them cancel themselves out. Yeah, but the crazy thing about it is, Empress, most of the time, they don't. Okay, how about this? Most of the time, yes, narcissists do crash out, right? A lot. And they will get canceled to a point. But usually, when they start to see that a lot of people didn't like how they act, or they feel a kind of way, what do? They become complete victims. They become complete victims at that time, you know. They become complete victims. They, like, all of a sudden it's like, I didn't do anything, everybody's against me, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I said what I said, it might have been wrong, but still, like, we see it all the time. Really, we see it all the time. Let's go on.
You just sink the boat. This obviously applies even more when the narcissistic person in the group is higher up in the hierarchy. For example, the patriarch or the matriarch of the family, the leader, the manager, whatever it be, or whomever it may be. Because that means everyone is screwed. The system will never get untoxic if the leader is narcissistic, and nobody is going to tell the emperor that he's not wearing any clothes. Interestingly, while more power can definitely mean that there's less recourse if a narcissistic person is in a system, even a person with very little power in a group, as long as they're entitled, pathologically selfish, manipulative, attention-seeking, dysregulated, aggrieved, and perpetually a victim, can destroy a group and turn what could be a pleasant gathering or meeting or class or lecture, whatever, into a tense, unpleasant, conflictual, and icky experience. One in which people feel shut down. It's a shame that businesses don't address the narcissistic folks in their midst. It would foster so much more potential in the more agreeable, healthy people in the workplace. But instead, most workplaces, most groups sacrifice lots of empathic, patient, decent people in the name of making sure that the one narcissistic person is comfortable. It just takes one drop of poison that makes everyone who drinks from that well sick. And we often think, it can't be just one person. There's so many of us. How can that be? How can one person have caused all this havoc? And we'll doubt it. Believe it. And the evidence is there, especially when you see how different the group, the event, and the workplace feels when that person is no longer there. So yeah, the answer to that riddle, just one. Thanks again.
All right. So that was one. So that was with a good small short video from Romney. So it was just literally, yeah, I love her too, Ariel. I really do. Um, it was just good to show you that listen, a lot of things that we probably have seen or experienced, um, now you see what exactly clearer why sometimes you see people do the things that they do. Why you have that obnoxious drunk, the party animal, the one who's on the table. You're gonna, like I said, we're in the holiday seasons. You're gonna see a lot of NPDs out here, right? They're going to show up in your family. They're going to show up in your friendships. They're going to show up in your work co-workers. They're going to show up they're going to show up in a lot of events. So you want to just keep in mind and have an understanding that the biggest thing that Dr. Romney was trying to tell you is that this is the reason why they do these things, how things go out of control, how the energy change. And she's also just giving advice as in how we can diffuse, actually really diffuse the situation. It has to call upon the environment to to put that person in check, right? And if you don't do it, all it do is just gonna just go out of control. It's just gonna go out of control. So it has to be the environment. It's the environment that you have to do. And before I move on to the next video that we're going to go over, I just wanted y'all to just have some type of facts. I mean, this is just it's not like really facts, but it's facts enough. Google, I typed in Google to see how many narcissists are in the United States. So they said the estimates of how many people in the United States have narcissistic personality disorder. These are people who are actually clinically said to be narcissists. They said we range from 0.5 to 6.2. Right? So Weinberg and Ronenstam in 2022 estimates that 1 to 2% of the US population has NPD. Cleveland Clinic estimates 0.5 to 5% of the US population has NPD. And the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders estimates 0 to 6.2% of the community has NPD. They said that NPD is more common in men than women, with about 75% of cases affecting men. Other factors that increase the likelihood of having NPD include, this one was crazy when I read it, being Black or Hispanic, being younger, being separated, divorced, widowed, or never married. Now, NPD is characterized by I can't always mispronounce this word, but it's grandiosity, entitlement, and a need for attention, as well as sensitivity to criticism and defeat. People with NPD may react to criticism with disdain, defiance, social withdrawal, or a appearance of humility. However, many people have narcissistic traits to some degree, and some consider the term narcissistic or narcissist to be overused. For example, most teenagers display narcissistic qualities as a normal part of their development. Now, I was really concerned when they said that other factors that increase the likelihood of having NPD includes being Black or Hispanic, being younger, being separated, divorced, widowed, and never married. And the reason why, oh, y'all can't even see it in that way. Why y'all didn't tell me? Can y'all see it better this way? Oh, y'all can't even see it this way. Oh, that's too small. Darn it. All right. My bad, guys. My bad. I'm sorry if y'all can't see it. But yeah, that was concerning for me, right? Because I don't really think that that's necessarily very fair to say that is most likely in a particular demographic, because of the simple fact is that even within this country, it's much better. Okay, thank you, young Riaz. Even in this country, right? There's so many things that people are disenfranchised, right? Or had to fight for certain things and things of that sort. So me personally, I didn't like it because if we know that there's things that oh no, you can't see it, Ariel, is it too small now? Darn it, my bad, my bad. I apologize. No, darling, I'm not on my mobile. I'm not on my mobile. I am home. I just wanted to try vertical a little bit. And I'm trying to see how to make this look good on vertical and do a little bit more vertical lives. Hey Chakra, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Thank you. And let's see. Hey, what's up, my problem child? What's going on, Royce? So, it's too small. Okay. Let's see. No, that's too small. Okay, I think I can see that. Can y'all see that? Let's max it now. But it doesn't show the whole thing. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Okay. Too bad. Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna try to do the best I can with it. All right. So yeah, I just think that is I don't want to really take that as the most factual thing because I don't want to take it as the most factual thing because you cannot you said shrink the browser from the left to right all the way. Okay, let's see. Darn it. Let's see. How can I make this smaller? How can I make this smaller? Like, dude, I'm tripping. My bad, guys. I apologize. Let's see. Boom. Can y'all see it now? No? Yes? No? Maybe? No? Okay. I'm sorry. Well, we're over it. We're over it anyway. I just wanted to say for this is that I don't like that part. Oh, it's way too big now. My bad. Darn it. My bad. All right, we're over it. We're over it. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to show that is just that we can have a understanding of how many people in our country, if you're in the US, it has narcissism. The number of people of narcissists in the world, I think is at 10 to 20%. I think that's what it is. But I don't like that little saying trying to say that most likely because you're black or Hispanic. Like that's weird. And you can't even use that with the US population because when it comes down to people of color, black, Hispanic, whatever not, there was rights and stuff like that that had to be fight and fought on this country. So when I don't like when they say that because it's like to me personally, and I could be wrong, but to me personally, it's trying to imply that the rights that have been fought in this country, when we know that there were certain rights and certain things that policies and discrimination and all these other things that people have to still deal with today, not as bad as it was before, but still dealing with it nonetheless. It's like you're trying to say that the things that people have fought for is now a part of having a mental issue because they're entitled. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, I know, but see, Big Joe's, tell you the truth, I do know where to actually get real information, clinically factual information when it comes down to narcissism and personality disorder. I just was using the AI as an overview per se because like when I read it, that was very interesting to me for them to say specifically to target specific demographics. And then it's like I have it geared to the US, and then like, wait a minute, you have to also include that these are the same people that you're talking about who have to deal with rights. You have to also include that, you know, people who are single pay higher in taxes than people who are not, you know, than couples. Like, there's so many things that you have to include into that for you to not say that these are the particular demographics that will most likely show up or have an NPD. That's my only thing. That's why I wanted to bring that up. Okay, so now we're going to get to a little bit more of the fun part, right? Let's see. No, I understand. I agree. I agree. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I do. I agree. Let's see. Roy said, and people are always trying to black people to, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I thought that was really weird. I really did. I thought that was really neat. I mean, yes, we do have very high trauma numbers. You are correct. You are correct with that, chakra. But you know, trauma doesn't necessarily brings not all the time, doesn't necessarily brings narcissism, right? Like, narcissism is like, oh, I'm better than you. I should have everything I want. The sense of entitlement. I need to be the focus of attention. Worry about me, 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 me. You know what I'm saying? And it's saying it as when we talk about a narcissistic person, is not someone who's not necessarily a disenfranchised person, right? Like, you can be wealthy, you could be rich, you could be stinking filthy rich and be a narcissist, right? So I don't like how they try to just label certain demographics, because yes, we do know that disenfranchised people will have to have deal with more struggles and might uh be affected by more mental illnesses. But we have examples out here of people who did not have to deal with any disenfranchised. In fact, they come from an affluent um society or affluent family, you know, or environment, and they still show high levels of traits of narcissism or being a sociopath. What we call it is affluenza. That's what we call it. So the next video I have is there was this content creator who took a whole bunch of TikToks and stuff like that. And there were these women who are married or was married, and they no longer want to be married, or they want to show you the ugly side of marriage, right? And these are their opinions, these are their words. You know, this is how this is how they feel. Now, again, this might be a trigger warning for some individuals who believe that marriage is the end all and be all, right? So if you are going to get triggered, please, I will just tell you, just come back a next time. Thank you for stopping by. But if you are willing to just listen to the other side that is not rainbows and sunsets, then just please just be respectful in the chat, okay? This is not to slight marriage in as a whole. We all know that marriage can be a beautiful thing, and we all know that marriage can be a nightmare to certain people. And this is not only just necessarily marriage only being a nightmare for women. We have heard horror stories of men feeling like they were in a nightmare of being married, okay? So here we go. I hope y'all can see it. Can y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see this one well? Or do I need to change it? I might need to change it. Not you if you marry you. Ignite, go in the corner. Go, you about to be a new corner boy, Ignite. Go in the corner. Hey, salute to you, sir. Salute to you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Let's see. I know I seen a new person come in. I don't see it. I don't see him no more. Oh, this is good? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. This is good. Okay, awesome. All right, let's go. Let's keep it moving.
I long for the day to be single again. The only thing that's causing me to stay and stick it out is because I've been a housewife for 10 years. And to get back out there in the workforce with a mental illness, some fears that I have. But I literally do hate being married.
Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, in honor of the holiday season, I know a lot of single women kind of get down on themselves and kind of feel like they're alone for being single throughout the holiday.
I am so fed up with this new generation of men. They literally don't want to get you no flowers. They don't want to take you on no dates. All they want to do is ask you what you doing all day long and tell you lies. Like,
My bad, guys. My bad. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Let's go. Let's go. I had to make sure that I cut some of it out and leave out the nonsense.
You could easily say, I wish I never met my ex, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of women that get married and feel that same way about their husbands. Let's get into it.
Please explain to me what you mean by marriage is hard.
It's literally right
being pregnant after 5 miscarriages and having this miracle baby and then walking out of the hospital with a $20,000 bill because my husband at the time refused to acknowledge me on his insurance. So those were, I mean, just the
You
consistent.
said refuse to acknowledge you on the insurance. Explain that to me. What you talking about?
So for punishment of not naming his son a junior, he refused to confirm me during discharge as his wife on his insurance.
Speaking with a girlfriend the other day.
So y'all heard that? A woman, she was married, and there was a miracle baby. They finally had a miracle baby, but because she didn't want to agree with naming the child Junior afterwards, he decided that he was not going to cover her on the insurance, and she ended up having the baby and walking out with a $20,000 bill. And this is your husband. This is your husband. You see what I'm saying? And that was a form of punishment. And especially when we hear a lot of men talking about marital punishment and stuff like that, and things that they can do to punish, their wives, or if she's acting up. And it's the same thing when men say that women or their wives do things to punish them in the marriage. Like they say, oh, not having sex with them, not ever wanting to cook a meal for them and stuff like that. But yeah, but that's very disturbing, like how scary should that woman have felt. And probably one of the reasons why she's not married to that said individual is because if he's quick to take you off your insurance or make you pay the bill because you didn't name the child Junior, then what would make you actually believe that he wouldn't do that with anything else? And you're married to this guy, right? You're married to this guy. He knows that you probably don't have $20,000 for that bill, and that's the reason why y'all had insurance, and that's probably one of the reasons why you're on his insurance, right? And for him to make you have you be stuck with the bill after wanting to have a kid, that's just that's pretty rough. That is pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Let's see. Big Draw says, come on, every man agrees that a man was a piece of shit for taking his wife off their insurance over a name disagreement. No, you can't you can't speak for the collective, sir. You can't. Okay? You cannot speak for the collective, not every man, because that was a man who actually did that. That was a man who actually did that to his wife. So we don't know what other men are really capable of, whether they think that was a good thing or a bad thing. We don't know. We can't speak for the collective in that way. Would I agree with you that maybe if we had a survey or a quiz that most people would say that was horrible and trashy? Yes. But we can't say that every man know that that's something that you're not supposed to do because a man did it. And see, Chris J said there are just one-off isolated incidents that are designed to get you to think. No, I mean it's not. The simple fact is that if you really want to really think about it, then most people's experiences will be one-offs, right? Even the experiences that men say that they have with women, we can categorize that as one-offs because if they're having that with different women, those are not the same women, right? So we could all consider that isolated incidents that have similarities but not the same, right? It can go both ways. It can go both ways, okay? Let's see. Where it says men gotta stop assuming they are on the same page with women until crunch time. Yeah, I mean that's a that could possibility. That's a possibility. Let's see. Hey DB, how you doing? Okay. Let's see. Big Draw says just because a handful do something doesn't mean most men agree with the men. Most men are good men. Well, if that's the case, then y'all have to say that most women are good women, but y'all don't. You will have to say that most women are good women because most women don't do the horror stories that y'all talk about. And I'm not saying you personally, I'm just saying in men in general. When y'all come online and y'all talk about the horror stories of women putting sugar in your gas tank, women putting a man on child support knowing that he wasn't the father, or trying to quote unquote get more money out of them out of child support per se, and knowingly that you do other extra things outside of that, or don't want you to see your child even though you've been given rights by the Lord to have your time with your child, but she makes it hard for you. If that's the case, then none of us, whether it's men or women, can say that most people are bad. We will have to say that I guess majority of the women are good because majority of the women don't do the things that men are saying that women do. It's the same thing. Oh, you did say, okay, you said most women are just okay. Oh, well, that's your opinion, sir. That's your opinion, but a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people don't think that at all. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people are saying up here, saying clear as day, no, majority is doing this and majority is doing that. And if that's their opinion on it, I'm in agreement, but you just can't say, oh, it's majority of women that's bad, but all these great, good men and guys out here. And you have to be fair. If it's either are we all fairly decent and good, or are we all trash? Like that's just what's gonna happen.
Day about divorce, and she was asking me when was one of the first signs that I knew something was wrong with my marriage. And I have this memory so heavily imprinted on my brain, I can still feel it to this day, and it sounds so weird. It was the middle of the night, we were both asleep, and in the middle of the night, my ex, while he was asleep, grabbed me from behind for a spoon hug in bed. It was like one of those really good big bear hugs in bed, and that sent me like electricity through my body. I have never in that marriage experienced such joy than when he hugged me in that moment. And he was asleep and he wasn't doing it intentionally. And that joy and elation carried me through the week. I was walking on cloud 9 because of that hug. And I kept thinking about it, and I started thinking, like, in hindsight, obviously, why am I so excited about a simple hug when he was unconscious? That's how little I had the affection that I needed. And it kind of clicked. I was like, that tiny little absolute nothing moment ended up being the best thing in my marriage that week. And that incident is what made me start kind of taking inventory of my relationship and taking a really hard look at it and realizing all the holes that were in my marriage. Okay, calm down. I did not divorce him because of the hug. It was years after that that we ended up getting divorced. But it was just one of those things that kind of started getting my brain thinking. We all kind of have those like dominant moments, don't we? Where something happens that makes us start thinking about all these other things that we need to be thinking about. Like you've woken up and you can now actually see your relationship for what it is. Anyways, it's such a random moment, but I've never forgotten that feeling.
Okay, so what this lady was talking about was, yeah, exactly, Lana. She was starving for affection. So what she was what she was talking about her marriage, her last past marriage, is that the unwillingness to learn your partner's love language, right? That's what she was just showing with her story, that she was in a marriage and she was not getting what she needs. Her love language was not being fulfilled. And she started to come to an epiphany and realize that she wasn't getting fulfilled the way that she needed to be fulfilled in that marriage. When she realized that when he did something that she did not have to tell him to do, it was literally he's sleep. He's not even conscious, right? He's sleep. And he did something that was a part of her love language. That's when she got the epiphany, like, wait a minute, if I'm feeling so good and I'm feeling so special and I'm feeling so loved, you know, in this moment, and this was something that he did, he don't even realize that he did, then that's what made her start to take inventory about their relationship, about how many times that is he, like, you know, make her think, like, wait a minute, as when he's conscious, he's not doing this. When he's conscious, he's not doing this. He's not making the effort to, you know, to feed into my love language when he's alert and aware, you know, and that's why it happens. So when we sometimes hear about marriages, we do know that a lot of marriages today, that because divorces are high, a lot of them has to do with very superficial things. We do know that some people are marrying for the wrong reasons. They're marrying for lust. We know people are marrying for utility. We know that people, you know, are security, right? And we know that some people are just marrying because it's the social norm, right? But this, what she's explaining is the feeling of your love language is not being met in a relationship, right? And it's the same how men complain about their love languages not being met in the relationship. If if their love language is acts of service, that's what they need their partner to do, and they're linked up with a person who's quite frankly only more concerned about themselves and not doing forms of acts of service to them. That's them feeling despaired in their relationship. So I'm just showing you exactly what she was talking about at that time. She was just talking about that she was in a situation where she was not getting her love language fulfilled, and eventually over time it made her have an epiphany to realize why she needed to leave. Because who knows, she could have had came up in an upbringing where if you all they told us was, if this man is paying the bills and you have a place to stay, you have food on your table, your kids are being fed, you're giving clothes, then pretty much that's just a great guy, right? That's just a great person, and everything else has to take a wayside. So just something to think about, right? Let's see. Lana says, Natasha, he probably didn't know how to express what he needed either. That was supposed to be a simple comment. Yeah, it was, right? Let's see. Natasha says some gentlemen don't get hugs from their own family, so expressing themselves that way on their wives may be foreign. That's why it's good to see your person's family lots of times before marriage. Yeah, I mean that's a telltale sign too, right? You know, there's a reason why you want to know the dynamics of one's family, right? Because you're also getting a better picture of that individual. Do this person have an exchange relationship with their parents? How do this person converse with their family members when they're in settings with them, cousins, aunts, stuff like that? Are they introverted? Or do they feel like they're part of the family? Is it weird conversation? Do it get very uncomfortable in the room? Do you see any of the traumas spill out when they get around said individual? A lot of that will tell you about how that person expresses themselves when they're in close relationships with the individual. Let's see. Young Reyes says, my mother has so much self-love that's why she remained married since 1999, but also they think it's better for the children if they were together. Right. We know that there's some individuals who stay together for the children. That has always been one of the biggest things, right? Especially, at one point in time in our society, divorce was taboo, right? People didn't talk about divorce. People didn't let their community know that they got divorced, especially if they was in like a tight-knit community, especially religious bound. Those were conversations that you didn't talk about. Like even today, when it comes down to a lot of the main religions, you're not supposed to get divorced unless it's something really over the edge. I was shoot. Like infidelity, right? Like infidelity, abuse, severe abuse, things of that sort. That would be the reasons why people would get, even with religious bound would be like, you can get a divorce. But even at one point back then, getting abuse wasn't even one of the on the list to get divorced. Like women couldn't divorce men who were abusing them. Men couldn't divorce their wives who were abusing them, right? They couldn't. Like that was even at one point that wasn't even accepted. Let's see. Or they are just staying single and trying to receive husband and wife benefits without reciprocating appropriately. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people are doing that. I would agree. A lot of people, there. I wouldn't say a lot of people. I'll say some people are staying single and they want, the benefits of being in a relationship. We see that now. We see that between men and women, right? You know, that's the reason why you have a side. That's the reason why we have side chicks and side bros. We have bachelors. That's the whole point of a bachelor, right? A bachelor gets to have access to a woman and all the stuff like that, and that he's not legally bound to that woman. He doesn't have to really care about what's going on with that woman. He doesn't have to take care of that woman. So we have always had that in our society, really. Let's see. Yeah, she does give a little side a little bit. She does, Natasha. She really does. Let's see. Right, exactly, young Riaz. It is allowed, but it's not recommended. Exactly, because it's not the societal norm. And it's gonna be looked upon you like even whether or not you won't be like legally affected by getting a divorce, right? Um you would be paid by the society. Like your society or your community you know, will make you be very uncomfortable. And nobody wants to deal with that. Let's see. Chris J says the problem with these women is they are again literally my problem child is ridiculous. Another problem child. Chris J, I'm going to send you to the corner. You're going to be sent to the corner today. But let me read your comment. The problem with these women is they are looking for all their needs to be met, aka the perfect man. At some point, you need to settle and be more realistic. They're getting up there in age too. Well, the same can be said for men, Chris J. As always, I'm going to be the antagonistic person in your conversation. Same thing as with men. Men wants the quote unquote perfect wife, right? That she cooks, cleans, and do everything. She can, she can sit on it or sit on it with a handstand, drop on it on a handstand, all that stuff like that. Yeah, want all those things, including she has to be highly attractive. But then if she's not that attractive, you feel that that gives you the right, according to your nature, to go and penetrate something that is more attractive. So we can say the same thing for men. He said, I thought bachelors no. You're mistaken. You're talking about male escorts, Royce. Male escorts charge money, right? Bachelors was always single men who never married, never had children, but they were just like the ladies' man, right? That's what the bachelor is. That's really the definition of the bachelors. Yeah, I don't think so, right? Exactly. Nope. Natasha. Natasha said, with a handstand? Oh my God, let me take some notes, child. Yeah, exactly, Miss Jalen. Exactly. Please, men have beautiful wives. She's getting old, so they run after. Yeah, exactly. Like it's crazy too, because sometimes men will have beautiful, beautiful wives. And yes, they're going to get older, just like men are going to get older. And some of these women still maintain being gorgeous and beautiful in old age. And that still is not enough. That still is not enough for some men, right? Like, look at this woman here. You could tell that she's of older age. You know, she's been married. I'm about to play the video so you can hear her story, but she's been married, but she looks beautiful and she kept herself up. She looks beautiful for her age. So it's not like you never stop having a beautiful woman, right? If the woman is beautiful, she's going to be beautiful when she's young, she's going to be beautiful in her prime, and she's going to be beautiful in old age. If she's a beautiful woman, she's a beautiful woman, right? Or attractive. I would say attractive, right? Because she's an attractive woman. I don't know if she's beautiful. For me, beautiful would be more about the personality and the mind, her mindset, her character, her morals and stuff. That would make her beautiful. But can I look at this woman and say that she is very attractive for her age? Absolutely. Yes, I can. All right, let's hear what she has to say.
Hiding in the closet again. So my husband told me that he feels like I've checked out of our marriage for the last year or so. But what he doesn't realize is that it's not that I've checked out of the marriage. I've checked out of being the emotional and mental quarterback, running back, defensive back, coach, owner of this entire marriage. And I really have. Like, I'm not doing that work anymore. I'm just trying to take all of that energy, that mental and emotional energy that I put into every aspect of our relationship for the last 17 years, and I'm taking it and I'm actually putting it back into me. And because I'm not like this superhuman person, I don't have enough for him. I don't have enough for me and him. There's not enough room for both of us on the headboard. Now, because I'm a woman, of course, my tendency is to feel bad about it, especially when he expresses displeasure or sadness or feeling like I'm getting further away from him. I'm not doing that work anymore, and now he's like really noticing it. I explained to him too that like I'm on my therapy journey. I'm not happy, and I'm not blaming him. I'm taking ownership of it myself and saying, hey, I've got work to do. I've got things that I have to do to get my head right, to get my spirit right, to get my soul right. I want to make plans for myself. I want to do things that make me happy, make me feel good about myself. And the fact is, it hasn't always been this relationship. This relationship has drained the shit out of me. But when I try to explain it to him, it's like I'm speaking, Chinese. Like, he doesn't understand what I'm saying because I did it for so long. Like, willingly and happily, I did all the planning for every aspect of our lives, everything that we've done. I'm always taking the first step. I'm always saying the first person to say I'm sorry. Like, I'm always taking the lead in that mental and emotional space since the beginning of the marriage. I mean, I get it. I know he's used to it. It's what he's comfortable with. But I can't do it anymore. Like, I just can't. I don't have enough for him. And I need to take care of myself. And of course I do feel bad, but I don't feel bad because I know I'm doing what's best for me. I matter. I'm a human being too. Actually, there's kind of a part of me that hopes that he looks at me and sees the work that I'm doing, and then maybe he might take it upon himself to do some work that he needs to do for himself. I don't know, that might be a pipe dream though.
So as you can see, that is a seasoned lady. You could tell that she's been married for a very, very long time. And she said that she cannot do the emotional and mental, I guess, cheerleader and for the marriage anymore. And I guess her husband is feeling kind of way. He feel that she's pulling back. And the reason why that is happening is because if you think that your wife or your spouse is supposed to take on all your baggage as well as her own, and you don't know how to help her alleviate hers, then that's what's going to happen. She's going to get tired, right? She's going to get drained. She won't have nothing for herself. Like if she's dealing with all the things that you can't deal with yourself, you're expecting her to take that load. And then when it comes down to the things that she's dealing with, you're not taking that load. We know you're not going to take that load, because if you are actually putting that on her, we know you can't take her load. So she's been worn down. And I think that that's something that we have to really admit, that sometimes we can wear down our partners. We can wear down the people that we're in relationships with. It no longer, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a job that you actually sign up for anymore. It feels like a job that you didn't ask for. And I think that a lot of people don't want to admit that, right? Like there's some men who don't want to be in relationships with women who they feel like they're raising their own children, right? And then there's some men who do want women who they'll look at as a child, and they raised her up to be the wife that they want. We all know that we have those type of men. But there are some men who don't want to be in a relationship with a woman who they feel that they have to raise, right? And it's the same on the other side. There is women who do not want to be in relationship with men that they have to raise. They do not want to be the extra parent. They're not trying to be your secondary or your third mom. And they have a right not to do that. Like they cannot continue to help raise you. You're not supposed to be raising each other in a relationship or a marriage. You're supposed to be growing. There's a difference, and there's a reason why we use different words. You're supposed to grow with your partner. Your partner is supposed to be growing. You're supposed to be growing, and y'all supposed to be growing together, right? Not I'm raising my partner to be an adult, and you know what I'm saying? I'm raising my partner to be an adult and raising my partner to be the person that I need in that relationship. That type of stress, that type of strain will ruin any relationship or any marriage. It really would. It really would, because you can even hear that lady's voice. It doesn't seem like she doesn't love her husband. In fact, she showed that she do love her husband. And she said that everything that she did for years, she willingly did it happily, but she wasn't happy. And then sometimes we have people who believe that, and I'll say people because this is not only just a men thing. We have men and women alike who believe that the relationship or the marriage is the end all be all of everything. Just the simple fact that you're in that marriage or you're in that relationship, everything is supposed to be perfect. Everything is fine. That's the highlight of everything. And it's not. That's not the case. That's not the highlight of everyone's life or desire. You know, some people was actually raised to believe that being in a relationship or being in a loving marriage is an addition to their life, not their life, right? And it's unfortunate when you're in a relationship with someone or you're in a marriage with someone who believe that their partner, the only sole thing that their partner should be focused and worried on is just this, is the highlight of this person's life should just be the union that they have with each other. That's not the case, because most of us, like I said, we was not born already a sign to who we was going to marry. Most of us had to date. Most of us had to get to know ourselves. Most of us had friends, careers, went to certain different colleges, had different aspirations and different levels of our lives. So how do you think that by the time that they come to you, that's the only thing that they ever needed and wanted? You know, it's something that we have to think about. Let's go on to the next one.
I will never forget getting in my car pissed, fuming, chasing my husband through the entire neighborhood in his car because he left during an argument and I wasn't done talking. My name is Christina. I learned how to be a wife the hard way so that you don't have to. I share real raw marriage lessons that everybody wants to hear, but nobody talks about. I was pulling in front of him, stopping, slamming on brakes, pulling to the side of him. A neighbor came out the house, told us we need to stop doing all that in the neighborhood. I told him we need to go back inside the house and mind your business. Like, it got bad, and this was all because I didn't know how to handle conflict in my marriage. If I could talk to myself before I was married, and the things that I would say, the first thing I would have told myself is just because you're not done talking doesn't mean that someone has to finish listening.
I cut her off because she started talking foolish at the end. She said, she said, just because she's not done talking doesn't mean they're not done listening. That may be true, but I wish my man would walk away while we're arguing, get in his car, and proceed to leave. That is so disrespectful. That's worse than hanging up in somebody's face. And the fact that you're married to that man, that means y'all have already had that in the past. Now you're locked into that, running through the neighborhood looking crazy, about to have the neighbors call the police. But it seems like he's kind of dog trained you into believing that you did something wrong because you were triggered by it.
So here's my take on it. I think that both of them are right, right? But then it goes back to you actually knowing your partner, right? So, and here's the flip side of that, right? When you know your partner so well that you know what will be perceived as a punishment to them, which some people do utilize in a relationship, right? And what this lady was explaining is that her husband knew that she likes to talk and get her feelings out and express herself. And he knew that by walking away that would be like the most one of the most disrespectful thing that she do. Like, listen, I'm not having this conversation with you. I'm over. I'm done with it, and bounce. Almost to the point where you made her so irate that she would run down or drive the car chasing after you because you ended a conversation. That is really very crazy and weird. And it's not necessarily just crazy and weird on her part per se, it's his part per se. Because if you know that your wife, and this is what I said about protection, right? And how some men believe just because you was able to put a ring on a woman's finger and call her your wife, you think that automatically make you a protector. How did this man protect her? You explain to me, how did her husband protect her in this moment? He didn't. In fact, he put her in danger, right? Because she's already irate. You, first of all, you shut down on her, right? You shut down on her. That was your punishment, to shut down on her. You go and you leave. She don't know where you're going, right? So whatever the argument was about, she's concerned about where you about to go out and go and do. She's in her car emotionally charged from the disrespect and the detachment that her husband, who's supposed to be the closest person to her in life today, is pushing away from her. She's in a car, emotionally charged, driving down the street, trying to chase after you because you ended a conversation. What if she gets in an accident, right? What if she gets in an accident? What if she hits a car? What if she injures somebody? Because you know that she's in that emotional state and you help her stay in that emotional state. You didn't diffuse it. In fact, you got a kick out of it because for you, that was a punishment to that woman. She could have lost her life, sir. Matter of fact, you could have lost your life. if she was that irate and enraged from you doing that, and she decided that she want to tailgate you and hit you from the back of the car. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there has to be deeper understanding of what protection is. Protection is just not only physical from a stranger. You are supposed to be protecting your special person that you said is your special person in life. You're supposed to be protecting them emotionally, mentally, as well as spiritually. How was you protecting this woman by allowing her to put herself in danger because she's emotionally charged from the disrespect that you shown her, which you know is a disrespect because you did it as a punishment? How could you? How can you call yourself a protector at that time, right? How can you? You didn't protect your wife. You put your wife in danger. Seriously. You put your wife in danger. You put yourself in danger. You put the whole community in danger because you did nothing to actually really diffuse the situation. Now, here's another thing on top of that. Here's the flip side of that. Whatever conversation and discussion that they had, I don't know what conversation they had. She could be saying online that she had a conversation, but we all know that the reality is sometimes that conversation is a whole argument where she could have been calling him out of his name, disrespecting him wildly. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know if she could have be putting her hands on him. And mind you, I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying what the reality is, right? Reality is that sometimes these arguments, people can say very horrible things to each other, right? Very horrible things. And I'm, for one, am not a person who believes that somebody is supposed to stand there and endure even verbal abuse. You're not supposed to endure physical abuse from anyone, nor verbal abuse. And this goes for men and women. You don't have to endure that, right? That is not what you sign up for when you get in a relationship with somebody. That I never seen on the list of the marriage contract that says that I am relinquishing my rights to be verbally abused. I don't think nobody signs up for that, right? So I understand if that was the reason why that the husband was like, listen, I'm out, and he dipped, is because he was being verbally abused and he's not taking that anymore, and he decided to remove himself. But the only problem with that is that now y'all are married, right? Y'all are married. Don't know how long they've been married, but y'all are married individuals, and y'all are supposed to be the example of people who have communicated with each other more than enough to know that we are not going to cross each other's buttons. We are not going to disrespect each other. We know our standards. We know what we need to do to diffuse conversations or arguments and get back on track, right? This is what couples or married couples, y'all are supposed to be the examples of that, right? That these are the people who was able to figure it out how to make this relationship work, long lasting, and everything. Not perfect, but at least y'all know each other. Y'all know each other. Y'all know how it goes. Y'all know how it flows. But that situation right there, that was just telling me that they were married, and it's either two things. They were married and they still didn't know each other's twerks. They still didn't know what levels of how they can disrespect each other, right? Or mess with each other's boundaries, right? And then on top of that, in that marriage scenario, it also showed me the lack of protection, right? The lack of protection that was going on. Like, if your wife would have gotten in a car accident and, God forbid, lost her life, you know what you just did? You just lost your family member. You lost your family member just for being petty. You lost your family member because you wanted to, quote unquote, punish them by not allowing them to express their feelings to you. And there's a way how you can go by that, right? is a big good, like, even like men, if you are with a woman and she's literally, cursing you up out the song, cursing you out your name and all that stuff like that, and you know that that is a pet peeve, that you don't like to be taught disrespectful in that way, right? Especially if you're not a man who talks disrespectful to her in that way. If you value your relationship and your friendship, in your marriage, you would say, listen, I don't like to be disrespected. I don't like to be called out my name. I am willing to listen to what you have to say, but I'm not going to listen to what you have to say in this manner. I need you to speak to me with respect so I can understand, so I can actually really be open to listen to what you have to say. But if you're going to continue to disrespect me, I don't have to do that. So this is what you have to do. You have to have that talk. But you have to have the talk, as in, not like you're trying to overpower her, or you're I'm King Tut and whatever. No. You have to let her know that you're feeling disrespected in the moment, so you can't even listen to her, right? You can't even listen to her. It's very similar how women be trying to tell some men out here. When you talk a certain way and you don't think it's disrespectful, you want to sum it up as you just being voiceful. You're just expressing yourself as a man. But if that's ringing to that woman or who you're speaking to as disrespect, she's getting the red flag that you're disrespecting her. Whatever you're saying to her, is not going to get into her anymore. That listening part has cut off, because now all she sees is you're just trying to disrespect her. You're trying to undermine her. You're trying to control her. So she's not going to ever really get the message now, because you cannot deliver a message with disrespect. The only time you can deliver a message with disrespect is with your enemy. Your enemy. You can deliver a message for your enemy loud and clear with disrespect. You can't do that with your loved one and think you're going to get a soft, understanding reaction. You're not. Because your loved one is going to look at you like, why are you talking to me as if I'm your enemy? Why are you talking to me as if you hate me? Why are you talking to me as if you hate my existence? You hate that I'm, what I'm saying? So it doesn't, you remember, energy is important. Energy is important. And we all know that certain words that we use give off different types of energies. That's the reason why when you could say, I talked to someone, sounds completely different than when you said, I yelled at someone. Words give certain energies to the situation. But let's go on.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what these women are going through. Like, this other woman, she just says she realized how drained she is because she's been doing everything in her relationship. She's been planning it, cleaning it, fixing it, cooking it, wrapping it, presenting it, and she's tired of doing that. And the other lady, not using his insurance. Like, these men will literally abuse you behind the scenes. A lot of times they can't wait to get you by yourself and isolated. And a lot of the times, marriage is one of those isolation points. And they'll just abuse you, whether it's like physical, financial, mental, emotional. Even them just acting like they can't do housework. So now you just feel burdened by having to take on more tasks. Like, this is crazy. And a lot of times, let's just get into some more. I've said enough.
Sarah, I like reading people's anonymous confessions on Reddit, and I'll share with you some. So here we go. The title of this confession is, I am starting to hate my husband. I am a 30-year-old female and I'm starting to hate my husband, who is 33. Everything he does is becoming annoying. I cater to him. Honestly, I clean the entire house and take care of the kids and also work, bringing in way more income than him. I also cook all our meals. At this point, it's just like, what added value is he bringing to my life if I'm primarily taking care of the kids, raising the kids, financially contributing more, and here is the kicker. I also do more when it comes to S. It's becoming a growing resentment that I'm pouring into his cup and no one is pouring into mine other than myself. What is getting me is that we live in a world where we toss relationships left and right over frustrations. So, I'm not leaning towards a divorce or leaving him because he is a good guy. But is he a great partner? Debatable. But is this for the worst part of my marriage because simply I just can't?
Some things that my soon-to-be ex-husband used to do that I didn't realize wasn't normal until after I left. When the Wi-Fi guy came to install our internet, he made me FaceTime him the entire time because he said that I might try and sleep with him, and then he still accused me of sleeping with him, saying that I could have slept with him before I called him or after I hung up the phone. Didn't tell me happy birthday until right before I fell asleep on my birthday, 2 months after we got married. Gaslit and manipulated me into not having a job and said, I just want you to be a stay-at-home wife. And then when like money problems would come up or any kind of issue with me would come up, he would complain about how I didn't have a job and how I'm just mooching off of him. Only came home and ate dinner with me maybe twice a week because he was at his parents' or his brother's house. He did not get me a Christmas present, but instead he gave me his debit card and said, don't know what you want, you got $50, go get yourself something nice. Complained and told me that I was folding his clothes wrong when he never ever did laundry, wash clothes, nothing. He told me over a year after we'd been married and I was pregnant that he wanted multiple wives, and then he was upset that I was upset about it. Got pissed when my parents bought us groceries one time. Told me that he didn't believe that our son was his son, and when I said get a paternity test, he said, I don't even want to because it could be so close to my brother's DNA that you probably slept with that it would just say that it was mine and I would still never know. When the electricity went out on 2 of our rooms, including a bathroom, and our washing machine was broken, and I tried to get him to fix it for about 9 months, he told me that I should have been more grateful and that it was a test to me because people back in the olden days didn't have that kind of stuff, so I should have just been grateful that I had it in the first place, even if it was broken. Okay, that's all for now. Bye!
Okay, so yeah, that lady, I'm just gonna keep it 100. Lady, you was with a full-blown narcissist. That ex-husband of yours was a full-blown narcissist, okay? He's not a regular decent guy. He was a narcissist, or fully 100%. Oh, wow. The simple fact that he was so insecure about, throwing up how many people that you were sleeping with him, that's because he was sleeping he was sleeping cheating on you regardless, right? That's the reason why he was saying it, right? That's why he think that you were sleeping with the technician or his brother and all that stuff like that. That was just to shame you. He already know that he's out there stepping out on you. The whole Sam thing, and that's a trick too. Like some of those men who be wanting, not all, right? Because we don't deal in absolutes here. I know some people like to deal in absolutes on their shit. Let them do it. But here at my channel, we don't deal with absolutes. That man, that narcissistic man, the reason why he didn't want you to work and he wanted you to be a stay-at-home mom was because he wanted to control the money, control what he gives you. And also he knows that with you having your own money, you have freedoms to buy things that he doesn't have to answer to, or do things for yourself. Or he felt that would have been an avenue for you to actually leave him, right? Because he's not the person that you have to go to money to. So that's the financial abuse. And then, yeah, of course he's going to use it when time get hard and the bills get hard. And he took too much on his plate that he can't take care of. He was going to also use it as a way to say, well, you're the reason why I can't take care of this problem. Your expenses and all that stuff like that is the reason why I'm struggling. Well, you wouldn't have been struggling if I wasn't a stay-at-home mom. You didn't want me to be a stay-at-home mom. If I had a job, you would have been able to, stay above float and don't feel like your everything is on your plate. But no, you wanted that, right? You wanted that because you want your cake and eat it too. And that's the problem with when you're in a relationship or in a marriage with a narcissistic person, right? He will blame you you will be blamed if the struggles of the world is too much for him, then he feels like you're not doing your part to make it easier for him. But then yet he wants you to be in this incapacitated type of state because that makes him feel good ego wise, right? And also he gets to control everything. He gets to know what's going on, you know, and he wants to limit you having some say so in control. And one of the biggest things that they do it, narcissistic men do it, is through money, right? That is like one of the easiest things to try to manipulate people, especially in a society that we live in where everything costs money, is to manipulate and coerce people with money and to get them to do what they do, you know? So, yeah, she was in a very, very bad narcissistic relationship. I'm glad that she got out. But yeah, that is not all men. That is not all men in relationships, but those are signs that, you know, that's, you know, there's some men that are like that. Let's go on.
I finally got the message, you know. He didn't love me. He didn't even like me. But he liked the money.
I'm literally sitting here crying because I want. But the only reason I can't is because I don't want to make anybody feel sad. I don't want nobody to be hurt like, oh, Chelsea's gone. But I'm sad and hurt and lonely every single day. And don't nobody care. I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I've been crying out for help. And I'm about to smoke and drink. I'm cooking dinner. I deep cleaned my house today. I woke up at 6 a.m. I went on a walk by the river.
That poor lady, that poor lady. So it's, as you see, she feels very sad, hurt, and she feels underappreciated. And even in the midst of all her pain and how unappreciated and lonely she feel in her household, she feels even more hurt about the person that she with if she was to actually leave him. And now that's the problem. It's the problem when you're at that point and now you can't do for yourself, that the other person and what they're going on is more important than what you got to do. You're literally killing yourself. You're literally killing your life force, okay? Because you could tell that she's in emotionally distressed. She's emotionally distressed. You could tell that her spirit has been tampered. You could tell that she's going through a lot of mentally emotions about it. She wants to actually go. You can hear that she wants to leave, but she is more concerned about how people might look at her or about how that person would feel if she would leave. And that takes more precedence than her. And I'm telling you, that's the quickest way to kill to kill the God inside of you, right? Because God is also inside of you too, okay? That's the quickest way to kill the God inside of you. And you will start to wear that on your face. You will start to wear that where you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of your health, you get diabetes, you start getting gray hair early, you start losing your edges, you start having wrinkles and stuff like that. And all of that is going to show physically. And I'm telling you, you thinking that you being a servant or being a servitude to somebody else's needs and wants and stuff like that, and yours not being fulfilled, you think that you're going to get a brownie point or a cookie at the end of this. I'm telling you, you're not. There is no cookie at the end of you, quote unquote, being a mule for someone. It's none. you're going to be all used up, energy drained and everything like that. And then when it starts to show on your body, like your physical form, it starts to show how you even show up to the relationship in itself. That is going to make the same person who is not doing what they need to do for you, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna be like, oh no, this person just let themselves go. I need to go find another one. And they're never going to realize that they was the reason why that woman looked like that. That woman did not look like that. That woman didn't talk like that or act like that or coerce like that before she got with you. There was a reason why you got with that woman. It was a reason why you got in a relationship with that woman. She looked like she had a good head on her shoulders. She was loving. She was funny. She was cared. She was beautiful. All these things. And then now all of a sudden you wondering why she's with you for 6 months. She's with you for a year. She's with you for 10 years. Why she doesn't look the way that she does? Well, sir, that is your leadership that you're seeing. Sir, that's your leadership. When you see a woman look run down and she's sitting up here talking about she married, that's your leadership, sir. That is what your leadership has led that woman to look like that. That now she doesn't take care of herself. She can't take care of herself. When does she have time? When does she have time? She can't get all nice and pretty or nice or laugh and everything. When can she smile when she's feel like she's bombarded with everything on her shoulders? When can she smile? If she has to take care of all of everything or everybody else's needs and wants before herself, she can't even feel special or cute and anything like that. Like that's when you see your wife look like that. If you see people wives look like that, look down and out, look sad all the time, hair ain't done, wrinkles, all that stuff like that, just looking a whole mess, that is your leadership. That's what you looking at. And how dare you go and leave that woman after you created that, you go and leave that woman and try to get somebody else's woman or somebody else who didn't have to go through your leadership. You try to go get somebody else's work that they did on a woman that makes you attracted to her, and you don't even, how can I put this? You don't even see that you are the cause. You don't even see that, right? You don't even see when you's like, Dad, yeah, my shorty or my wife, she let herself go. She let herself go. She looked like this, she looked like that. She ain't doing this, she ain't doing that. You don't perceive that as your doing or you had anything to do with it. You perceive it as, oh, she just became lazy and complacent. That's the first thing that your mind goes to. She just became lazy and complacent. You don't think that you're factored into that what you're looking at is a mirror of your leadership in that relationship or in that marriage. And then you go take your raggedy ass right outside, and a woman who have done everything for herself, got herself together, have formulated good relationships, got a good job, whatever. Now you see her glowing, she happy, she's smiling, she's looking attractive and beautiful. That is somebody else's work. And you like, oh, I want that. I want that shiny little coin. I want the shiny little coin. But you didn't even look and see that you was the reason why that shiny little coin that you got don't look shiny anymore, motherfucker.
The fortunate and unfortunate thing about being married is when you marry that man, you are agreeing to meshing your life with his. Like, not just physically, but like financially, where he works, how much he makes per year, that has a part to play in the quality of life that you live. So if you get married young and he's making $50,000 a year, 40,000, while y'all are 25, he may still be making that same amount at 50. And then the girlies out here that's waiting until they're 35 may be with that man that's making 250 a year. Y'all's lifestyles are going to look completely different because the man you chose to intertwine with is on a different level. Like, you really have to think about that. And the way that some of these men age, like how they treat their bodies and just the decisions that they make, you are affected by it. For example, that last girl, reading in between the lines and looking at her page, she's upset because her partner voluntarily unalived himself. And she is living with the consequences of a decision that he made with his kids. And she's struggling because he left her by herself. And now she's going through it and there's nobody there for her. So does that make you feel better about being single? Like, these are problems you do not even have to have. These issues are not on your radar. You don't even have to worry about a bipolar man, a depressed man. Like, you don't got to worry about ED and cheating and STDs. And like, you don't have to worry about none of that. None of that. So Christmas coming up, New Year's coming up, Valentine's Day coming up, you need to keep this stuff in mind. Like, you have other struggles, but it ain't nothing like what they got going on.
I'll never forget that moment right before I left my husband where I'm talking to somebody close to me and I said, you know what? I think he's gaslighting me. I think he's gaslighting me and he doesn't care about my opinions and my topics and my standpoint. I think he wants me on his side. I don't think he gives a fuck about what I have to say and my thoughts. I think he wants me to agree with his. Turns out I was right. Gaslighting, baby. Red flag.
I left my home, my life, my multi-million-dollar everything with 3 suitcases.
With the girls or without the girls?
Without the girls. So I have a full-time nanny who is there 7 to 7. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come to LA and I'm going to see my therapist because my therapist is here and I'm just going to check into the hotel. Well, when I got to the hotel, I slept for so long, they did a wellness check. And they knocked on the door to make sure I was okay because I hadn't ordered any food and no one had seen me. And I could barely talk when they did the wellness check because I hadn't had water in so long.
You were just out because you were so exhausted?
I was out. I was physically exhausted and sick.
How many hours is this?
I would say it was probably, I want to say 30 hours. After I got up, I remember just being in a stupor and feeling like I could only mentally take one thing in front of me. So it was like, okay, drink water. Okay, eat some food, lay back down. And then finally, I actually just told my sister, I said, can you please check in on the kids? Because I don't know if I'll be able to. You know, I mean, it was just really step by step. And I think that's very similar for a lot of women.
Your husband's not going to change, and here's why. This is going to sound harsh, but I think a lot of people actually just really need to hear the truth. And it's because he doesn't care. It doesn't benefit him to change. Approaching your husband again to discuss an issue, whether it's household inequity, you not feeling considered, you not feeling like he's putting any time and effort into it, is likely going to fall on deaf ears because he's been exploiting your time, your labor, your energy. And if he didn't care when he started doing it, he's not going to care now. Because this likely isn't the first time that you've approached him with an issue. This isn't the first time you've tried to explain your needs to him or how you feel unsupported. If he didn't hear you out, listen, learn, and change the very first time you brought these issues up to him, it's not going to happen now. And this goes for all aspects. If you bring up an issue to him and he either says that you're holding him to an unfair standard or he's gaslighting you about minimizing your emotions, it's because he doesn't care and it doesn't benefit him to change. And there's no consequence when he doesn't. Because there's no consequence if he doesn't change. Eventually, things are going to go back to how they were. You're going to stop nagging him and he's going to be fine with it until you bring it up again. And then again, nothing happens because there's no consequences. So why would he want to change? It's like with kids. You can threaten and ask and threaten and ask and threaten and ask, but the second you don't follow through with it, they know that they can get away with it because there's no consequences for it. I'm not saying you should threaten to leave and upend your marriage at the very first sign of something going wrong, but if he doesn't change the first time you bring it up, he doesn't care and it's not going to change. I often have women come to me and ask me for recommendations of books or things that they can do to help their marriage or help reconnect with their partner. And I had a woman ask me the other day, the same thing. Do you have any book recommendations? They're in couples counseling right now. And because her husband is diminishing her and minimizing her feelings and emotions and then having angry outbursts at her when she brings them up. So I asked her the same thing. Do you think if he cared, you would be in this position? That 8 months into therapy, you're seeing only small changes? Those are those breadcrumbs I talk about. Those are those small changes that they give you to make you think that things are changing and they're better off than where they were, which still isn't good enough.
Always trust your intuition. If something is not feeling right, it typically means that it's not right. If someone is showing you their true colors at the very beginning, it usually means that they're going to be like that even past a relationship and even past marriage. If someone tells you they love you after a month, they really don't love you. They might like the idea of loving you. They might like the idea of you, but they really don't love you.
I mean, and what she's saying is absolutely true. Like I said, y'all can go on my channel. I did a whole live stream on it. The difference between love and limerence, okay? So what she's talking about is limerence. A lot of people are in limerence. They do not know what love is. I don't know if any of y'all are Queen Maker or Princella followers, but she told you about the 5 components of love. And if they are not presented, that there is actually, in fact, not love. It is just most likely limerence. But here and there, limerence is the idea of loving someone, right? We can see limerence in many different examples. Your celebrities, your favorite sports athletes, your favorite actor and actresses, and you say, oh my God, I love them. I love them. I love them so much. That is limerence. You don't really love them. That's just the word that we use. What you're talking about is limerence. You literally don't know nothing about this actor. You don't know nothing about this actor, actress, celebrity, artist, football player, soccer player, you name it. You don't know these people. These are people that are not in your everyday life. You're not in theirs. You don't know what they do 24/7, and it doesn't matter if you follow any of the Hollywood critics, people who follow these people around, the entourage or the paparazzi. Even the paparazzi in them, they only snap pictures and photos of moments and situations. They don't know these people either, right? But we will sit up there and say that we love this person. We would say, oh, I love this person. This person seemed great and cool, whatever. And we love these people due to the things that they do. We love them because they're great at their craft. We love them because they're a subject matter expert on this or that. That is the reason why we say that we love these people. But we don't really love these people. We don't know nothing about these people. But we love the idea of said individuals. And that is what this lady is speaking about.
And if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be self-aware that that is not okay. That is a red flag in its own. And you're going to end up attracting a narcissist who made you feel crazy for feeling like you can't trust them, for making you feel crazy for allowing his patterns continue, his patterns to show you that that's who he is. He's not going to change. He's going to tell you all these amazing things and words and apologize, but his actions prove something else. His actions show you exactly the type of person he's going to be. So don't let that fool you. And don't think that a marriage is going to fix that. Don't make the same mistake I did. Because I didn't love myself enough to not realize this at the very beginning. I'm glad that I have the courage now to see this when it's only been 6 months of knowing each other and 3 months of marriage. Now I am going through annulment. I would never wish that on anyone. I owe it to my future self to work on myself, to love myself so much that I will never allow anyone to disrupt my peace again. I will never allow anyone to just say words and not follow up with actions. I will never allow someone to make me feel crazy for feeling a certain way and for communicating on how I feel based on that person's actions. I will never allow that to happen again, because I know I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to come out stronger than this. It fucking hurts. It hurts so much right now. But I know this is the best decision for myself, so I don't make the same mistake in the future. Don't make the same mistake I did. because it hurts like hell. But I know I'm going to come out stronger. And I hope this helps someone who's going through some things very similar, or prevents you from making a decision that you shouldn't be making as far as marrying the person that's making you feel this way. Trust your intuition.
Poor, heartbreaking. She seems very, very hurt, but I'm glad that she's on the right path. She definitely it seemed like she just married the wrong person for her at the end of the day. And I'm glad that her specifically, she's not talking about marriage as a bad thing. She's not saying, "Oh, don't get married." She's just saying, like, when it's time to go, or you see signs and stuff like that, stop trying to convince yourself of that is something else than what actually you're actually feeling. You have to actually really believe in what's going on. Believe in what's going on. Believe in your intuition. Believe in what you're feeling. You're feeling that way for a reason. You're not crazy, and everybody will try to make you seem like you're crazy. And it's kind of funny too, because people will make you seem like you're crazy, but wait a minute, I wasn't crazy 3 months ago. I wasn't crazy 3 months ago. I wasn't crazy when I decided to get in a relationship with you, or I decided to marry you. I wasn't crazy then, but now I'm crazy. And that's the gaslighting that some people will do. I'm not saying that there are not people out here with mental issues and traumas and stuff. We have already displayed that some people do go into relationships with relationship traumas and all that stuff like that. And that's why the best thing is to do is to try to give yourself time to heal before you actually even try to join another relationship, or try to connect with someone in that way again. Because honestly, the reason why you stopped being in that relationship because you couldn't be yourself. That's why you had to remove yourself. You couldn't be yourself. You didn't look in the mirror. You didn't see yourself anymore. You didn't feel like yourself anymore, right? So why would you try to hurry up and get back into another relationship when you lost some of yourself? You didn't know yourself. Just think about it.
I'm an attorney, and one question I have seen a lot since season 3 of Bridgerton came out is, what is the difference between a divorce and an annulment? So to be clear, a divorce is a dissolution of a valid legal marriage, meaning it is an ending of a marriage that was properly formed and properly existed. The main difference is the grounds, meaning the justification that you're going to need to obtain an annulment versus just a divorce, and then the legal effect that an annulment has on a marriage. However, when someone files for an annulment, they want the court to recognize that that marriage itself is null and void, meaning that it never should have existed in the first place. Now, a court is not just going to annul a marriage because you wish it hadn't existed, because it's embarrassing or you regret it. You're going to have to prove very specific grounds, meaning that there was fraud at the time the marriage was entered into, somebody was coerced, someone didn't have mental capacity to enter into the marriage, or someone was underage. This is very different than the grounds for divorce, where there all you need to prove is that after you entered into the marriage, issues arose like irreconcilable differences, abuse, or abandonment.
So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been hands down the most depressing, miserable, horrible 3 years of my life. I have literally never been so depressed. I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married. While I run my ass off and I do everything for everybody in my life, like me, my kids, him, he goes to work and works enough. That's it. He works. Yeah, his job's hard. Yeah, his hours suck, but he works. That is all he does. I am in a different town because I had to take my kids to their football practice, and I asked him to watch our daughter, and you know what he did? He slept. He slept since he got home. What did I do? I did homework. I fed the kids. I took my son to speech. I went to the bank. I paid people to mow my yard because, he can't mow the yard anymore. I, like I said, made sure homework got done. I got them ready for football. I took them to football. I tried taking care of myself and went on a walk, but you know, when I started realizing I hadn't heard from him, I'm calling and calling and calling and begging for the bare minimum of him to watch our fucking daughter. Excuse my language. I'm just so upset. To watch our daughter, to cut up a watermelon and to make dinner. I mean, that is absolutely bare minimum. That is not, that's not asking for much. And it's not even today. It's not even today. Oh, so then when he realizes that he's almost running out of time and we're going to be home soon, he's like, oh, I can't because I don't have this. So you know what a normal person would do? They'd be like, oh, I don't have that. Let me go get it. But guess what? He has 30 minutes until everybody's going to be home. So he's just like, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to lay now because I waited so long and now I'm mad at myself. Now I'm just not going to do anything because F it. I am 30 years old and I'm literally begging for the bare minimum every single day. I am a married single mom. That's what I am. Yeah, I don't work, but the amount of weight I carry, I have been applying for jobs. I mean, I can tell you right now, the reason women stay in shit relationships is one, because they don't have the means to leave financially, like a house. Two, the idea of a family. I can tell you why I've stayed. Money. It's that simple. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. He used to want me to be a stay-at-home mom. Now he just doesn't care because he doesn't care about anything. I shouldn't have to wake a 32-year-old man up for work. No matter what shift, first, second, third, I shouldn't have to wake him up for work. I shouldn't have to tell him what time to set an alarm if I can't wake him up. I shouldn't have to call or make people go wake him up. I shouldn't tell a grown man that he probably should shower after working all day. I shouldn't have to tell him to brush his teeth. I shouldn't have to tell him to feed his kids while he's taking care of them. I shouldn't have to tell him to watch his kids. I shouldn't have to tell him what to put the kids in when it comes to clothes. I shouldn't have to tell him where the clothes are. He doesn't even know my kids' teachers' names. I shouldn't have to manage his schedule and mine and my kids.
See, when you're single, you don't even have to date anybody long enough to the point that you hate them because you'll cut them off long before that. And typically that's what women would do. But of course, she's married. So, you know, she's a wife. She's a housewife, the soft life. So she's stuck. She's up and stuck. And he knows that. That's why he's pushing it even further, making her hate him even more. Let's get into more. This is getting juicy.
I shouldn't have to tell him, hey, you need to refill your medicine. Hey, you need a doctor's appointment. Hey, you should probably get your oil changed. Hey, your brakes don't sound good. Not only tell him, but then I have to call and schedule that oil change because will he do it himself? No. Will he call himself? No. I am raising another kid. And so what's going to happen when I get my job? I am going to be doing everything that I'm doing on top of working now. I shouldn't have to tell a grown man if he can and can't buy something because he doesn't know how much money we have, because never in his life has he ever downloaded a banking app on his phone. Never has he ever looked at a pay stub. Never has he ever even looked at a bill to see what it costs. So yeah, he might make the money, but who carries the financial weight? Who carries the way to budget the money? Who makes the grocery list? Who makes sure we have food so we can eat food? Who makes sure he has this, that, and everything else when all he gives a shit about is getting high and sleeping? Because you know what? If he's not high, he's not happy. I should not be begging a grown man for the bare minimum. On top of the bare minimum, I shouldn't have to deal with the anger outbursts, breaking my shit where my door won't even close, putting holes in my walls, threatening to kill me in front of my kids. The list could just go on and on. And yeah, I know I can leave because trust me, I am leaving. But people can't just walk out and leave one day when you have kids and 12 years of life wrapped up together. You gotta have a plan. You can't just walk away with nothing. You have to have a plan. My plan is in effect right now, but I just had a rant because I'm just baffled. I just don't want to spend another day like this. And I know I just got to get through a couple more days, couple more weeks. And then what? My kids lose their dad? When I quit forcing him to be one, when I quit forcing him to help, when he loses his job because he doesn't wake up himself, like I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just not fair. Happy 3-year anniversary to me. Happy 3 years of misery. I mean, I'm trying so hard not to be bitter, but like, I've just never disliked somebody so much that I should love, that I just don't. In sickness and health, better or worse, like, no. Like, so destroy myself and destroy my kids to keep a vow? Nope. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm waiting to get my kids from football so I can go home to a fight that I already know I'm going to go home to. So I can figure out dinner at 8:30 at night and do showers and get everything ready for the next day to do it all over again. Moms literally cannot give up. You just can't give up because nobody else is going to pick up the pieces. Dads will check out. Dads will do this. Dads will do that. But as a mom, you literally cannot because you have to carry it. All right, I'm done ranting. I guess I should say what a perfect day to wear my Patterson Law shirt. Problems with your ex, call Rex. If you need a good lawyer, he's your guy. But don't worry, I'm not going to need a lawyer because he's not going to fight for anything because that's how little he cares, which, good for me, but sad for my kids.
Alrighty, so we've made it to the end of this video. If I was able to clear up some of that FOMO for you, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know how good of a job I did helping you change your mindset on you.
Woo! That lady, whoa, boy, oh boy. She is going through it. She is going through it. She looks like, I hate to say it, that's a bad thing when you can see your marriage on your face, right? And here's a funny thing too, is this is not only just women. We have seen men who look who look like they've been through the ringer when they've been in a marriage or in a relationship. We've seen it. But that's how that's how when it gets to the point where you have to know where it's time to exit, right? It's time to exit. And this is literally just for your sanity, your safety, your children's safety. If you have it involved, like, you got to stop just staying in things just for the sake of societal norms and thinking that you have to endure things just because it's not going to be happy every single time. Like, no marriage is happy all the time. We should, as adults, we should know that we're not happy every day. We're not happy every day, right? We know that that's an emotion that can come and go, right? Because I don't know nobody who's talking about they happy when they sick, right? I don't hear about people talk about they happy when they're sad, right? Normally those two things don't be happening at the same time. So we know that happy or being happy or feeling happy is not something that's going to last every single day. It's going to be special moments, memories, and things of that sort. But what you should be, you should not be like that. You should not be like that. And for the simple fact that if you're talking about the person that you're supposed to love, you are really feeling like you hate them, that is a clear sign that maybe this is now turning into a toxic environment, toxic marriage, or toxic relationship. And it's time to let bygones be bygones, right? When it gets that toxic, when you are now looking at the person like, you know what? That pillow's looking mighty fluffy, and that person sitting there snoring in the bed, and you don't know, that pillow seems mighty fluffy right now. When you start having those type of thoughts in your head, I don't know. In some situations, it's not for everyone, but in certain situations, I think it's time for you to start thinking about other things, right? But one of the things that you really need to get out of those stories that I just showed you is that it is not all rainbows and sunshine and sunset, sunshine when it comes down to marriage, right? Do not get bamboozled on the wedding industry and how it's $1 billion industry that makes you believe that the way how your wedding was is how your life is going to be going forward. There is a reason why people spend $60,000 to $100,000 on a wedding that looks like a fairy tale, and your life don't look nothing like that every single day. This is why I don't cater to the wedding fucking industry. I don't cater to the wedding industry. I don't and the reason why is not because I don't think none of that stuff is beautiful, not that women don't deserve to have those things. That is not the reason why. I'm just saying that I know that it can create it's a way to manipulate people, right? It's all part of marketing, and this is me tapping into my marketing degree. That is all a part of marketing. It's to make you believe that it's just some fairy tale. It's to make you believe that you're Cinderella. It's to make you believe that you finally found your prince. It's to make you to believe that your life or your life with that person is going to look like that 24/7. It can allude to that. And some people literally, we hear it. Some people get married for the wedding, right? Some people just get married for the wedding. They get married so they can wear the dress. They get married so they can wear the pearls. They get married so they can wear the tiara. This is the reason why they do it. And they can be, catered to hand and feet as the wedding, as the bride, because the bride don't, when it's the bride's day, everybody's doing everything for her. That's why she has all those maidens, right? Bride maidens. They're doing everything for her. You don't worry about nothing. You just worry about getting down to the altar. Okay, so everybody's picking up your clothes for you. You got a whole hairdresser. You don't have to do your own hair. You don't have to do your own makeup. Everything's being done for you. And mind you, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think that all that is supposed to happen. I'm just talking about the foundation of it all when it comes down to the wedding industry, that you pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars for a moment, and some people believe that that moment is going to be how their life is going to be in that marriage with that person the whole entire time, and it doesn't. It doesn't. You go get married in Hawaii, but you live in Cleveland, Ohio, right? You go get married at a beach somewhere in the Caribbeans and stuff like that, but you live in the streets of Chicago, right? And you don't realize that, like, dang, Dad, my reality is not like my fairy tale that I thought it was. That day, that moment that I got married to this guy. So that's my only reasons why I don't promote the wedding industry. I'm not saying I don't promote marriage. I think marriage is great. Is marriage for everyone? No, but I do believe marriage is great, and it can be beautifully done when it's between two healthy individuals, right? And I will always support that. But then I will also always support if it's not healthy, if it's toxic for both people involved, especially if it's children. Y'all need to get that. Y'all better hurry up and get the fuck up out of here before something else happens. That's how I believe. I better do what y'all need to do, right? But you could just see on these women's faces that they are drained. And I know that you have some outliers that will say, well, those are just women who are entitled and who thought that they was gonna be, have the good life and they wasn't have to do anything. And you're gonna say, oh, those are just those women. But there's so many situations that occurs too, right? That occurs too. A lot of all these women who talked about their marriage had one thing in common: neglect. Did anybody notice that? That all of these women with different situations about why their marriages ended, a lot of it, none of them talked about money. All of them was about neglect and feeling undervalued, feeling not worthy, feeling unappreciated, feeling like they had to take on all the emotional baggage of their partners as well as their own. That's what they were talking about. I didn't hear one of them talk about anything about financial like them struggling, right, in that way. But what they were struggling, what they said they were struggling with emotional connection. They were struggling with not their love language not being fulfilled. They were struggling with the fact that they felt that they were doing everything, and that their significant other, their partner, only had one task that they were, you know, that they only had to worry about. And it felt like they would sit up there and be like, well, that's my job. I mean, I did my job for the day, and that's all I have to do. While they're running around here looking crazy. They're running around here doing everything. And then on top of that, they're supposed to do that with children too. They're supposed to they're supposed to cater to the children's um, development, make sure they have a good social life, make sure they're healthy, make sure they're getting their checkups, and they have, they have sports and stuff like that, homework, all that stuff like that. And I'm not saying that whatever that man's job is, I'm sure he's probably tired. I would, as a person, as a mom, as a working mom, a single working mom, I know, who works long hours, I know it's not a joke, right? I work overnights. I'm about to go ahead and get dressed right now. I work overnights and stuff like that, doing 10 to 12-hour shifts and stuff like that. That can be taxing on your body, especially if you have a manual labor job. And I know, and this is why communication is so important too, right? Because they might end up, they look like you just went into a 9 to 5, you went into the office and you just typing on a computer, and you coming home and you talk about you had a hard day. And that's not the case, right? You could have been like literally doing manual labor for 10 hours. Your bones hurt, your back hurt, your hands hurt, your feet hurt. Y'all know y'all men are good for not picking out shoes. Y'all don't pick out good shoes for y'all. Y'all pick out shoes that hurt y'all feet. Y'all do. Y'all all pick out shoes that hurt y'all feet. I can't stand when y'all do that. Pick the right shoes for y'all feet. Get them things, get them insoles in there or something. Don't be worrying about looking like no chump. Get them shoes that you don't mess up your feet. But yeah, y'all pick out, y'all wearing shoes that y'all shouldn't be wearing all day long, going to work in it and stuff like that. And it doesn't read the same way. It reads when you come home and you're tired and you're mentally exhausted. It doesn't read the same way how that woman, if she's a stay-at-home mom, how it reads for her. She's like, she looking like, dang, I haven't even been able to wash my ass yet. Like, it's been all day. I haven't been able to wash my ass because I had to wash the kids' ass. I had to wash the fucking clothes. I had to clean up the house. I had to do this. Everybody, the car got to get washed. The car had to be detailed. Like, everything else got to wash, got the chance to wash their ass, but not my ass, right? And then if they're sitting up there looking so stressed out and stuff, how are they gonna look attractive? How are they gonna look pretty and nice? And you like, oh, why you always in a muumuu? Why you always in a muumuu? Why your hair always undone? Why you always don't have a bra on? And y'all say things like that, like, you don't look attractive to go to bed with. Like, that's why communication is so important, guys. It's so important on both sides, really, right? Because she can't see what you going through, and you really can't see what she going through until y'all actually in the same boat. And then it's God bless the women, the women like myself who has to do the, all the housework and all that stuff like that, and also still go to work and be a mom and all that stuff like that, who has to do it by themselves, right? Because you don't have nobody to blame. When shit don't get done, that's you, right? And it's always gonna be you, and it is what it is. You just have to suck it up, buttercup. But I think it's an extra type of it's a weird or more hurtful type of feeling when you feel like you a single mother and you have a whole fucking body right there, right? That's a different type of feeling right there. When you feel like you are a single mother and you're fully married. You literally laying next to a person, breathing, snoring, and all that shit. And you still feel like you doing everything by yourself. Everything by yourself, there's a problem. There's a serious problem. But we got to tackle it the way it is. And the only way we're going to tackle it the way it is being truthful about reality and what is going on out here. Like I said, I don't speak in absolutes. This is not everybody's situation. This is not everybody's marriage. This is not everybody's scenario. But this is an element of the truth and reality that is out here. And if we're going to tackle it for the better and to be better and to know better and to do better, we got to talk about both sides. We just can't talk about the things that we want to. We cannot paint the picture of marriage being perfect and it's the end all and be all, and you're going to be happy and you're sleeping beauty, you found your prince, and everything's going to be great afterwards. We can't do that. We got to stop doing that. There's a reason why Disney never did follow-up movies of these Disney princesses and princes stories. There's a reason why, right? Because when you do the follow-up, if you was to do a follow-up story, you'll start to see that whole magical, oh, they got together and they lived happily ever after. You get to realize that happily ever after the next day ain't what we thought it was going to be. So it's the reason why they're called fairy tales. It's the reason why, marketing wise, why they set it up like that it just, oh, they got together and that's it, and not anything else. Because when reality sets in, you realize that there is no fairy tales. And everything is you're going to have to work at it. And you're going to have to work at it the best way that you possibly can with the person that you chose. But I thank y'all so much for rocking out with me. We had hit the 3-hour mark, and now I am about to go ahead and get dressed and head to work. So please, everyone, hit the like button, subscribe, or comment. Leave me any comments if there's anything else that you would like me to review on a later date. If you have a video, you can just drop it in a comment, like I said, and I will review it for you. And I just want to shout out to everyone that was in the chat that have came to chime in and support and and give commentary. We appreciate you. You all make the channel better. And I will talk to you later, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Sunday.